Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to begin. Pursuant to applicable law and my determination that attendance by remote means is necessary because a fully in-person meeting is not practical or prudent due to the declared public health disaster caused by COVID-19. This meeting is being conducted in person and by video conference. We will now have a roll call vote to establish quorum. Please note a yes or present response will be deemed a yes when the quorum call is used as a reference vote for later items. Will the alderman please make sure who are on live stream that your microphones are unmuted? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Laspada.
Present.
Alderman Hopkins.
Present remote.
Alderman Dow.
Present.
Alderman King.
Present.
Alderman Hairston.
Present.
Alderman Sawyer.
Here.
Alderman Mitchell.
Present.
Alderman Harris.
Here.
Alderman Beal.
Yep.
Alderman Zalowski Garza.
Here.
Alderman Thompson.
Here.
Alderman Cardenas. Alderman Quinn.
Here.
Alderman Burke.
Here.
Alderman Lopez.
Here.
Alderman Coleman.
Present.
Alderman Moore.
Present.
Alderman Curtis.
Present.
Alderman O'Shea.
Here.
Alderman Taylor. Alderman Brookins.
Here.
Alderman Rodriguez. Alderman Tabarrus. Alderman Scott.
Present.
Alderman Cicho Lopez.
Present.
Alderman Maldonado. Alderman Burnett.
Present.
Alderman Irvin.
Alderman Irvin is present.
Alderman Irvin is present. Alderman Talaferro. Alderman Raboyes.
Present, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Cardona. Alderman Wagaspack. Alderman Rodriguez Sanchez.
Presente.
Alderman Austin.
Here.
Alderman Ramirez Rosa. Alderman Villegas.
Present.
Alderman Metz. Alderman Metz. Alderman Sposato.
Present.
Next is here.
Present.
Alderman Nugent. Alderman Metz, are you present? Okay, thank you. Alderman Metz is present.
Yes, I'm present, Madam.
Thank you, Alderman Metz. Alderman Vasquez. Alderman Napolitano. Alderman Riley.
Present.
Alderman Smith.
Present.
Alderman Tunney.
Present.
Alderman Gardner.
Present.
Alderman Kappelman.
Present.
Alderman Martin. Alderman Osterman. Alderman Haddon.
Present.
Alderman Silverstein.
Present.
Your mayor, we have a quorum.
There are 48 members present. We have a quorum. 49 members present. We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing as we have the invocation, which will be delivered today by Pastor T.D. Hughes of Third Baptist Church of Chicago. Pastor Hughes, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor Lightfoot. Thank you again also to Anna Valencia for this opportunity. Bless you. It's good to be with you today. Let us go to the Lord in prayer. God, first, we want to thank you for today, for your grace and for your mercy that continues to provide for us all the things that we need to be impactful and effective in your world. God, today we have come to not only say thank you, but to ask to hear from you. God, we need your leadership in our leadership. We need your voice in our voice, and we need your thoughts to be amidst of ours. God, bless the city of Chicago. Bless the mayor of the city of Chicago and all of its leadership. God, we pray that you would give us sound direction so that we would know what to do and where to go. God, we pray that you would help us to heal the violence in our city. And then, God, help us to heal the needs of our city. Remind us, God, that the currency of our days mean more when it's helping those who are in need. God, give us the things that we need and calm our fears. God, help us with our anxieties. And then, God, we pray that you would continue to help us in this pandemic. God, we are making the best decisions we know how with little. God, and none of the decisions are great, but God, we have to do the best that we can. And we ask you, God, to be with us and to be with the leadership of our city as we make tough and difficult decisions day by day. But God, we know that you're a God that never sleeps, you never slumber, and you work even when we cannot see you. So God, thank you for bringing us this far. But we pray, God, that we have far to go. And we ask that you would go before us, make easy and successful the way. We pray now the love of God and the sweet communion of your Holy Spirit to rest, to rule, and to abide with this, our leadership. God, we thank you for all that you've done. We thank you for what you're doing right now. And we thank you for what you will do in the future. God, we pray now finally that we might be not only what you desire, but we pray through your Spirit one day we might fully be what you deserve. Bless us in the name of Jesus, we pray. Let every heart say, amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Now is the time for public comment.
The council will now begin the public comment period, which is limited to a maximum of 30 minutes. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Speakers cannot yield or transfer their time to another speaker. Any written comments that have been submitted will be posted and made available for automatic review. The first speaker today is Mr. Eric Sextall.
Test 1, 2. Can you hear me?
Mr. Sextall,
Hello?
we can hear you.
Okay, I can. Okay. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you for this opportunity to speak, and also I want to say good morning to the mayor of this great city of Chicago and all the councilmen and all the representatives that are assembled here. I just want to speak from my heart, guys, today, really from the standpoint of what the minister just shared in his prayer. The things that we face and deal with in our city are very practical issues that can be fixed. Anything that's taking place in our city right now can be solved. There's a biblical principle in 1 Corinthians that talks about the human body. And I'm going to equate the human body to the city of Chicago. The city of Chicago is one body. And now when a portion of the city is impaired or hurting, then we have to address it. And if it's not addressed or it's dismissed, then it begins to affect the entire body. So the scripture says that the hand, which could be the south side, cannot say to the eye, I have no need of you. The eye might be downtown. Or the north side can't say to the west side, I have no need of you. Because if the west side is infirmed, or if the south side is infirmed, and it's not being addressed, it affects the entire body. We've all been represented. We're all here to represent a constituency of people, but we have to have a mindset that it's really about the entire city. Because if we don't take on that approach, we never solve the issues in our city. So it's important that we see that, wow, the south side needs help. We need to employ resources there. The west side needs help. We need to employ resources there. That's how we solve the issues for the entire city, because it's one body. Now, I'm also here to represent and address the issue regarding Black Heroes Matter and the Outer Drive. That's really a simple issue. We tell our kids every day that if you accomplish something, I want to celebrate you. My daughter graduates tomorrow. I'm going to celebrate the fact that she's graduating and going to college. I want everyone to know it. Well, this man discovered the city of Chicago. Why shouldn't he be celebrated? Why shouldn't he be acknowledged? That's a very simple principle that we have to start to implement. These issues that we have in our city are not difficult. It just takes the will of individuals who have been elected to get back to the simple principles of wanting to solve them. So let's solve these issues together. Let's make this city as great as it's supposed to be, because it's the greatest city in the world. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Sextall. The next speaker is Mr. Ephraim Martin.
To our honorable mayor and members of this most respected city council, good morning. I am Ephraim Martin, chairman of the Black Heroes Matter Coalition and president of Martins International. First, allow me to say thanks to the Transportation and Ways Committee, who unanimously voted yes on the ordinance sponsored by Alderman Moore and co-sponsored by Alderman King and others to rename the Outer Lakeshore Drive as Jean-Baptiste Point de Sable Drive, without changing residential address, I mean. We respectfully ask that members put aside all differences and support this historic decree and vote yes this morning. Mayor Lightfoot, we must commend you on your offer to set aside more than $20 million for the Saba's project, which tells us that despite the small amount it may cost the city for the Saba Drive, the funds are secure. Yesterday marks one year following the gruesome murder of George Floyd. And this week marks 1 year since the formation of the Black Heroes Matter, calling for an end to systemic racism in Chicago. And also to correct the wrongs to the Chicago's founding father after more than 200 years of racial neglect. For more than 25 years, Martins International has been highlighting the Saba issue at its various special events. But the public square televised public police assassination of Floyd forced us or pushed us over the edge for us to say enough is enough and that we cannot wait for tomorrow. We must immediately honor the founder by renaming Lakeshore Drive the Saba Drive. Additionally, we must give him a city holiday and of course, a minimum 25-foot monument. For almost a year now, we have been consistently making our case to the various council committee about the Saba, the Black man from the Caribbean who started this city. We have outlined our argument, and it is finally in the hands of you, the elected council members, to vote your conscience and to do what is right by voting yes to rename the Outer Lakeshore Drive as the Saba Drive. Madam Mayor, since the start of our campaign, millions of people worldwide now know that over 240 years, in 1779, Chicago was founded by a Black man from the Caribbean by the name of the Saba. But the color of his skin denied his respect and credit, such as a street, a monument, and an holiday. The Saba made his transition in 1818. And in 1830, when Chicago's first boundary was set for street to honor individual, the Saba was denied and the street were given to white men, Washington, Jefferson, and of course, John Kedzie, the murderer.
Mr. Martin, thank you very much for your comments. However, your time has expired. Our next speaker is Oliver Kamarzi.
Good morning. My name is Olivier Kamanzi, Chairman of Africa Global Chamber of Commerce and the Chairman of African Union, African Diaspora 6th Region, Illinois Chapter. Thank you all City Council members, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, and a special thanks to Alderman David Moore and Alderman King, the co-sponsors of the renaming of Lakeshore Drive to the Saba Drive. I'm here this morning representing our African business community and the African diaspora to thank you and ask you to support the vote, a yes vote for the renaming. The time is overdue to recognize the founding father of this great city of Chicago, the man who inspired all of us to live in peace and harmony, also to do business when he established his trading post here in this great city here, right here in downtown Chicago. We must recognize him in big way. Once again, I thank you for your yes vote. Black heroes matter. God bless you, and God bless United States of America.
Thank you, Mr. Kamazi, for your comments. Our next speaker is Melvin Bailey.
Hi, good morning, Mayor. Good morning, City Council members. Hey, Mayor, I just want to let you know, we, as a Hardest to Serve community, we support you. We support your effort. We see it. Unfortunately, we understand you're getting a lot of bad rep, but we support you as the mayor, and we're going to tell that to anyone. But my speech is real quickly. I have a two-speech approach. One is acknowledgement. First, I would like to acknowledge Brian O'Donnell from the city, Irma Morales, because they've been working with us for the past 2.5 years to get across the finish line through City Lots for Working Family. Looks like we're across the finish line. Hopefully we'll be going to City Council to start building affordable housing on the west side. And then I would like to thank Alderman Jason Irvin, Alderman Walter Burnett, of course, Alderman Emma Mitch, and Tyler Farrow, Michael Scott, and Alderman Pat Dow for allowing us to at least talk to them about building affordable housing in their ward so we can reduce this violence. We have to take an approach to reduce the violence. And that goes into my next speech, Mayor, of not acknowledgement, but a no-show. Your commissioner of buildings, your assistant commissioner of buildings. I emailed them back and forth talking about trouble building initiative where we could take city municipal code 1312-142 will allow us to take these vacant and abandoned buildings that's in our neighborhood. We can take them through the forfeiture process, where we can hire some of these young boys and kids and keep them in the neighborhood by getting them a hammer and get rid of that gun. And if you realize, Mayor, I've been saying this same speech for the last 3 administrations, talking about taking these vacant and abandoned buildings so we can keep these kids in the summertime in their own neighborhood, instead of going downtown causing mischief and danger to the community and the tourists. So I am here to tell you again, Mayor, I'm gonna keep talking about it. Keep talking about it. So, and again, and I just keep it like the young kids say, 100. I reached out to your commissioners, your deputy commissioner, your assistant commissioner, the people who's over in the building court, corporation counsel, and it was a no-show. I mean, I emailed them. I'm like, wow, you guys are still tearing down these buildings in a pandemic. They still coming down. Let us have them so we can keep these kids in our neighborhood and create an opportunity for them. I'm tired of looking at the news and every time you look up some kid with a gun shooting a baby. S.O. Gates shooting his babies and innocent people. So please work with us that we can change some lives. And Mayor, again, we supporting you. Whatever you need from us, we right with you.
Mr. Bailey, thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Mr. George Blakemore.
As a concerned citizen, a Black concerned citizen, I wonder if Black lives really matter. When I see the discrepancy in the white areas, I see institutional racism on the police department, on the force. And over my 79 years of living, 52 of them here in Chicago, I never picked up a newspaper or heard on the news, radio, or TV of a white policeman, a Black policeman shooting a white person. I never, out of my 79 years, heard of a black policeman shooting a white boy and girl or a black one. No, it's not gonna happen. Why? Because of institutional racism. I talked to my black officer. You have the training, you have the uniform, you get paid the same money, but these white policemen run these police departments. These white, and to my black ultimate ladies and men, you know, Bert and these white ultimates here run city council. Keep it real. Keep it real. Institutional racism. Now, if you want to advocate for something and not out of drive and do something, advocate for good service, contracts, and jobs for black people, equity for black people. So these are dogs and pony shows that you all have up here. I can see through wet waters and see dry land. Mr. Blakemore can see. Do not come back with these little good ceremonies naming a street after. We got other issues, and focus on the big issues always. Goods, jobs, contracts, and service for your community. Now, David Moore, go to the ghetto where you from, and give jobs. Open up business, and have high quality schools in your area. Spend your time on that, bringing economic development to your area. And that goes through same for Sophie and all you 18 or 19 black ultimates. For all of you, you know all of you. Look at your ward. You're disgraceful. You're shameful. No business, no jobs, no economic development, and no contracts and jobs.
Mr. Blakemore, thank you very much for your comments. However, your time has expired. Our next speaker is Phyllis Leon.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning, Mayor Lightfoot, Alderman Dowell, and City Council members. We know that Chicago has many challenges, and we appreciate your time and effort to solve those many problems. The South Loop Concerned Coalition invites you to the premiere viewing of a panel of experts on One Central. The South Loop Concerned Coalition has assembled a panel of esteemed experts in transportation, construction, and finance to analyze the revised One Central proposal. We think you should know their surprising conclusions about this project before $6.5 billion with a B of our tax dollars are given to a private developer, Bob Dunn. We invite you to watch the premiere tonight, May 26th at 7 p.m. Central Time. Go to www.southloopconcernedcoalition.org to watch. The panel includes Professor Joseph Schwiedemann, a professor at DePaul and Director of Urban Planning and Transportation, Mr. John Talbot, a civil engineer and attorney with vast expertise in infrastructure construction, John Filan, former state budget director and managing partner of a regional accounting firm. This is a must-watch event. We think you will be informed, and we thank you for watching. My name is Phyllis Leon. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Ms. Leon, for your comments. Our next speaker is Etzer Kentavi.
Honorable Mayor Lightfoot, honorable members of the Chicago City Council, good morning. My name is Etzer Kentavi, president of the Disabled Heritage Association. You are assembled today to vote on Alderman David Moore's ordinance to rename Lakeshore Drive Jean-Baptiste Pointe du Sable Drive. History is in the making. History for the visionary who, 240 years ago, picked a location at the confluence of Lake Michigan and Chicago River to establish, together with his Potawatomi wife, Kitty Howard, a settlement that has transformed the area into a bustling center of commerce and a haven of hospitality and opportunity that welcomed everyone. There, he set the nucleus that became the city of Chicago, today a world megapolis. This visionary is Jean-Baptiste Pointe du Sable, a Black man native of tropical Saint-Domingue, present-day Haiti, whose legacy of the city's first administrator you embody. Honorable members, in recent years, our beautiful city has been portrayed in the national media as a place plagued by gun violence. Chicago deserves better. You have in your hands today the power of changing this narrative. By voting yes, you will send a powerful message to the nation and the world that a new Chicago has arisen. A Chicago ready to embrace its destiny of diversity. A Chicago determined to right its historical wrongs. A Chicago that offers a ray of hope to its youth, who will see in du Sable a historical Black figure and role model whose achievements they will be poised to emulate. By voting yes, you will send a strong signal to Chicagoans who have been waiting for the construction of du Sable Park for the past 34 years, that this city is, for this point on, set on a course for full and unfettered recognition of its founding father. Honorable members, especially those of you who are on the fence or plan to vote against the ordinance, I kindly ask you to take a moment and picture du Sable in this assembly as a witness to the vote that you are about to take. Imagine him in this chamber listening to your arguments that it is too big a project, too much an honor, too costly a proposition to rename Lakeshore Drive after him. Would it sit well with him that those who only had a fleeting encounter with this land are rewarded with street names instead?
Thank you, Mr. Cantabi, for your comments. However, your time has expired. Our next speaker is Pamela Reich.
Hi, good morning, Madam Mayor and City Council members. My name is Pamela Reich, and I am here to object to the pre-K school at 1840 North Clark, not the school itself, but the location, because I am deeply concerned it is a dangerous location already as is, and then you add everything from the school, and it's going to be a serious situation. 1840, and first, I refer you to my written objection. There's a lot in there I'm not going to be able to cover. Now, 1840 and 1850 are attached on a triangular island bound by four busy streets and four dangerous intersections. In fact, the intersection at which the entryway of the school and the queue begins, a woman I knew was killed there. 1 block up at the intersection, a young man lost his leg, and 90% of the children who walk will be coming from the west and have to cross both of those intersections. Killed, lost a leg, children crossing. Okay, the building is set back, which means that the children will always be within a few yards, maybe a few feet from the street, and that includes the playground. Now, GHA, the traffic engineer, predicted that there would be 100 students walking and 100 cars. Now, what that really means is 200 people, 100 parents and 100 kids and some strollers, and 100 cars will already be converging on the small area by the intersection where someone was killed. But realistically, kids, 4-year-old kids aren't going to walk more than 3 to 4 blocks, maybe 6 in a stroller, and certainly not in bad weather. So the reality is there's going to be, 150 to upward of 200 cars, especially in bad weather. Now, using GHA data, I calculated that 70 cars would take 70 cars to encase the building. That means we're going to have 150 to 200 cars literally encasing our building and all the emissions, because the queue for the loading zone, it's 10 cars, but you're not going to have 10 cars magically appear, then disappear, another 10 magically appear. There's going to be a queue. Okay, and all of these increase the danger and the congestion. So I am so concerned that I personally don't see how. Oh, and there's accidents. If you look around there's in the queue, in the study, there are accidents all around this island all year long. The zoo, Farmer Zoo, is directly across the street. You can have people running to the playground out of schools with no supervision, kids wanting to run between the playground and the zoo. So I don't see how we can think that there will not be children seriously hurt. And remember that children are short and they dart quickly where you don't see them, and something that would only, barely hurt an adult could kill children. So I just want to ask you, is it worth taking a chance?
Ms. Reish, thank you very much for your comments. However, your time has expired. Our next speaker is Tremel Williams.
Greetings. Can you guys hear me? Yes. Greetings to the Honorable Mayor Lightfoot and the members of this full council of this great city. My name is Tremel Williams, a chair of the Black Heroes Matters for DuSable Coalition here in Chicago. Almost 1 year to date, the Black Heroes Matters Coalition, with the assistance of Alderman David Morris, set out with a sincere set of initiatives. A sincere set of initiatives with the goal of simply honoring Chicago's founding father, Jean-Baptiste Point DuSable. Now, we are not the first organization or collective to attempt to secure the just due honor for Chicago's founding father. However, today, we realize that not only us, but also the political leaders of this great city have the opportunity to be on the right side of history today. History definitely can be made today. Today, we have the opportunity to set precedent for what can be a domino effect and moving in the right direction, for not only attempting to right the wrongs of the past, but also this city will will be a leader, absolutely, will be a leader in making a statement to the entire world, saying that, hey, we recognize the correlation coefficient between the Black babies and even adults, necessity to see tangible examples of their greatness and the limited possibilities that they are able to achieve. We know that the political leaders of this particular committee, as well as the city, would want to see change. We know that change is inevitable, and we really do understand that today is a day that can make history and that will put us on the right side of history. Thank you guys for allowing me to give public comment, and we ask that every member of this council, please visit blackheroesmatters.org, and we look forward to passing this ordinance today. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Tremel, for your comments. Our next speaker is Leanne McKay.
Speaker 5, Leanne McKay, is not present.
Our next speaker is Shannon Waterfield.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning, City Council members and Mayor. Thank you for your service and for this opportunity to speak. My name is Shannon Waterfield. I've lived in Lincoln Park for 22 years, and I'm a very active member of the Old Town community. But my main focus is on children and Chicago Public Schools, and most recently and most importantly, the diverse Lincoln Park High School. My original topic was regarding the CPS preschool planned on 1840 North Clark and the many dangers regarding the traffic that will come to these children and to this community when the world opens up. But something just as dangerous and yet sinister has come to the surface. Neighbors, at least 20 neighbors, never received the proper legal notices regarding the public meetings for zoning. Most of my neighbors found out about the zoning approval that took place on May 21st from Block Chicago. Not one of my neighbors were invited to the table because they were left off the legal notification list, including myself. And for the record, the location for this preschool is just a bad idea. It is very dangerous, and within a year, we, at this very meeting, will be discussing its relocation due to the many accidents. This all came to light just yesterday morning. Many of the neighbors in Old Town were notified that a different zoning change was about to take place in Alderman Tunney's Landmarks and Building Zoning Committee. This was for a building not 10 feet from our homes. Not one of my neighbors received a legal notification. Fortunately, Alderman Smith asked for a deferral so the neighbors can have a place at the table, and the Alderman Tunney agreed. What is going on here? The optics are horrible. It appears this administration does not want the stakeholders to have a voice or a place at the table. I am asking for an investigation as to why the legal notices have not been sent to the stakeholders. I am asking for a delay on the preschool until all of our voices are heard. I was told the council vote today for this school is unnecessary. In fact, the vote was taken off the agenda, and that the deal is done regarding the preschool. How can that possibly be fair or right? So the takeaway, Mayor, is this just incompetence or something sinister? We and the City Council should find out and delay this preschool until all of our voices are legally heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Waterfield, for your comments. Your Honor, there are no further speakers who have timely signed up for the public comment period.
Next up are resolutions. Today, we have one resolution, a congratulatory resolution to our retired former Water Commissioner Randy Connor, who is present with us in the chamber. Alderman Mitchell, do you have a motion?
Madam President, I move for the temporary suspension of the rules for the immediate consideration of the resolution.
All right, hearing no objection, so ordered. In the interest of respecting people's time, we will forego the formal reading of the resolution, but I invite members who are interested in commenting to signify in the normal fashion for those who are present, and for those who are online to use the raise your hand function. First up is Alderman Curtis. I'm sorry.
Madam
First up is
President.
Alderman. Go ahead, Alderman Curtis.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Randy, I just want to say it's been such a pleasure working with you, learning from you when I came to work for the city. You would see that at the time, and then you came over to Streets and Sand, and I mean, you wasn't just a boss. You were a person that wanted to guide people and make sure they done the right thing, and you didn't want to leave anyone behind. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate your service. You have many years with the city, and I just want to say thank you for all the help that you've given me and my colleagues in Streets and Sanitation, and the service that you've done with the other departments in the city of Chicago. Thank you so much, Randy.
Thank you, Alderman Curtis. Next up is Alderman Beal.
Thank you, Madam President. I too rise to definitely support this resolution, to really to say thank you to my brother, Randy Connors. When I first came here a few years ago, one of the first families they said you need to meet on the south side of Chicago is the Connor family. You're talking about a family who has led this city in more ways than one. They have given their lives work to this city in more ways than one. And over the years, we have grown to have a friendship outside of work because of the passion and dedication that his family had and that you have for this city. Randy, I just want to say thank you for all the years that you have given us. You have stretched the dollars in more ways than one to give us more work by using whatever knowledge you have in the city to be able to stretch those dollars. And we thank you for that. You were always creative in trying to find solutions to our problems to get more work out of each and every department that you have been in. And so from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you for your service, your hard work and dedication. And the city is definitely going to miss you because there's no replacing you because of everything that you and your family have done for this city. So thank you so much and continue to do the work you have done, and good luck on the rest of your career. Thank you, Randy.
Next up, Alderman Ramirez Rosa.
Testing. Okay, thank you so much. Commissioner Connor, you came into the Water Department at a time that Chicagoans were upset and saddened to learn that there was so much racism and anti-Blackness in that department. And you came in there with a mandate to address that racism and anti-Blackness, but continue to ensure that the department delivered services in a timely and equitable manner. And you more than succeeded at that task. You are going to be an asset and a resource to wherever you end up. It has been such a pleasure to work with you over the last several years. You are just a consummate professional, consistently available to the people of the city of Chicago, consistently working to make sure that the assistance and resources that they needed from your department were there, particularly when there was a crisis. I remember one day I was walking my dog down Kimball Avenue and there was just water gushing out of the sidewalk, just for no reason, just water coming out. And I called you, and within 30 minutes, your team was out there addressing that issue and addressing that flood. So that is just one example of how you have been such a great asset to the 35th Ward. And I just know that you've been such a great asset to the entire city of Chicago. So thank you so much for your many years of service. You are truly a public servant in every sense of the word. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Next up, Alderman Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. I too rise to support this resolution. And you know, Randy and I go way back, and I ain't gonna tell my age, but I'm a little older than him. But I remember when Randy was a young guy and I was younger. And I always tease him about us growing up in city government together. But it's been a wonderful ride and a wonderful relationship as you grew up in transportation and developed it and moved on up the ladder and then go over to the water department. You have always been a consummate professional in your job, kind and considerate in how you dealt with us, and patient, to say the least, with us. And, you know, I always say, as I get crazy, you always get softer and calm me down and talk me off the ledge. But thank you. And wherever you decide to land, because you're still a young guy, wherever you decide to land, you will be an asset to whoever you're going to be working with. So today I say congratulations on a new portion of your life. You are young enough to move on and enjoy it. So God bless you in your new transition, and thank you for your service to the city of Chicago.
Thank you, Alderman Harris. Next up, Alderman Burnett.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Randy, you know our family go back a long way. My uncle, your father, your uncle, they all, you know, worked in transportation together. I think back then they called it Streets and Sand, I'm not sure, but they go way back. Matter of fact, they used to do the hustle and do concrete jobs on the side, you know, and I know that your dad is probably looking down and so proud of you, man. You just took everything to the next level. You know, you've been, I consider you to be a troubleshooter. I remember back in the day, I used to say, what department they putting you in now, Randy? Because they would put you in several different departments. You used to be the numbers guy, right? And you used to always help everyone with their budgets. And, you know, like I say, you took your family, that generation, to a whole nother level of professionalism. And I know everyone would be proud. And then you went to 2 different departments. And, you know, I've always took pride in being able to call you any time of the day or night. And as soon as I call you, right after I call you, it was done. Somebody was looking at it. My constituents were satisfied, you know, and I really appreciate that. You have always been very accessible, very personable, and you understood how we relate to our residents and our community. So I appreciate that. I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss having that phone, and you can call me anytime, I can call you anytime, outside of us being brothers. You know, You know, my cable tow, I will always extend my cable tow to you, brother. And you know, I appreciate you as my Masonic brother. I appreciate you as my Phi Beta Sigma brother. So go mob and so mote it be.
Alderman Burnett. Next up is Alderman Mitz.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Randy, I too want to say congratulations on your retirement. You fought a good fight, and I can say you surely finished the course. Everything that my colleagues have said have been so true about you. You took your job to heart. You are a perfect example of a public servant. If every one of my colleagues say that when they call you, you responded, it sure is grateful to have someone like you in our midst. Wish that could rub off on others to take this job that serious. So thank you so much for the service that you provided. I too, like Alderman Burnett, go back with the family for many years, including your father. You all never played around, no matter what you did when it come to the job. You gave it your all. The 100s, as they say, we did that 110. So thank you. God bless you. Good luck on your retirement. And I know you will keep up the good work wherever you're at because it's in your heart. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Alderman Mitz. Next up is Alderman King.
Thank you, President. Randy, I too rise in support of this resolution, but more importantly, in support of you. You put great leadership into almost an unbeatable package. Great intellect, great managing. You're just always responsive, and you're really just an affable person. So I would call that, you know, just really an unbeatable package. I remember when I first came into office and I was drinking water out of a fire hose. And I think you sensed that at the meeting that we were at. And you called me after and just said, you know, anything you need, just call me because I know there's a million things coming at you. You know, I'll help you. And of course, I took you up on that and called you for everything. But what I noticed over the years is that you are truly really, really good at what you do. And your intellect, your managerial skills, your personality, your hard work will truly be missed. This is our loss as a city. I know whatever you choose to do, you will be exceptional at because you are an exceptional person. You were put in a very difficult situation at the water department with all the historical racism there. And in little time, you started to change things around. So I just think, again, you are an exemplary person, leader, and you will be truly missed. And just happy that I've gotten to know you, and just wish you all the best in your future. Thank you. And thank you, President.
Alderman King. Next up, Alderman Hairston.
Thank you, Madam President, members of City Council. I too rise in support of this resolution on behalf of Randy Connor. Randy, I want to walk you back a couple of decades when I was a brand new alderman and we had our meetings in my conference room and you'd come with the maps and you'd sit down with my staff and I and explain to us about the Department of Transportation, about the menu, what could not be done. And I think that the reason that I am as knowledgeable as I am is because you took the time to sit with me and to teach me. And so I thank you for that. You truly are a public servant in every sense of the word. You believe in service to all. And your people skills and your demeanor, because I represent communities where there are 7 opinions for every 3 people. And be it a ward meeting, be it meeting with constituents out on site, I thank you for that, because it shows how much you care, that you actually take the time. And as everybody else has said, whenever we call, wherever, you are always, always there. So I just want to say congratulations. I will truly, truly, truly miss you. And the issue on Crandon that we've been working on the past 5 years has started again. But thank you for all of your work. I wish you nothing but the best. I am here for you, whatever you need. Congratulations. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Alderman Harrison. Next up, Alderman Scott.
Thank you, Madam President. I too rise in support of this resolution. Randy, I thought because we were good friends that you only picked up the phone for me, but as I can see, every time you call, somebody calls, you pick up the phone, and that's very much appreciated, I'm sure, from all of the aldermen that are here. I have stories too of when I was a freshman alderman and you were working at CDOT, and I didn't know left from right, up from down, and you would come in and kind of show me and walk me through how I do my menu. And then the reason that I think that I get all of my stuff in before the May deadline is because of you and kind of how you've kind of mentored and showed me what should be done and how it needs to be done. And from that, I think we've gained a personal friendship that kind of carries throughout. And you'll be getting a call from me probably this afternoon, so I don't have to worry about that. But the one thing that I will say that it is a testament to what it is and how you do. When you left, I knew you were gone, and I had questions. I still called you. You still picked up the phone and still gave me a little idea of what I needed to do to get what I needed done. And that shows your professionalism. That shows your dedication to this job, even you're not being here. And that's so very appreciated. And so I appreciate you as a brother, as a commissioner, but more so just as a person and how you do things. So, Madam President, this is a loss for us, but a gain for whoever gets you. And so good luck in your next career. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Alderman Scott. Next up, Alderman Sposato.
Thank you, Madam President. I too support this resolution. Randy, what can I say? You're awesome, buddy. I didn't quite know you for decades. I only knew you for 1 decade, so I haven't been around that long. But boy, when you talk about public servants, you weren't just a public servant, you were a great public servant. So I didn't call you that often, to tell you the truth. As you know, I didn't call you, but and that's because of the great job you did with your staff. I mean, I would always call your office, and I never had to go to you and say, Randy, Julie or your staff is not coming through for me. They always came through, and that reflects a lot upon you. So leadership is what really makes people who they are, and you are a true leader. And certainly we all respected you. And I certainly expected this to be a half-hour to 45-minute resolution, but I will say very well deserved, Randy. So you're my friend forever. Appreciate all you did for me and this great city. God bless you and God bless your family. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you, Madam President.
Sposato. Next up, Alderman Cardenas.
Thank you, Madam President. I too joined this resolution honoring Randy. Ultimate professional, just like many of you have said, know him for many, many years. He made his bones at CDOT. That's where everybody knows his work, his legacy, how to take care of the small things and the big things. But really also his parties, his annual birthday parties are a can't miss. I'm not sure if you've been there, but man, I do urge you to go. When, I don't know, Randy, it's coming up, right? It's coming up. Please make sure I do end up going. I love those times, but it shows whenever you go to these places and parties, you get to see everybody that has a fondness for Randy, not just at work, but also outside of work. He's the ultimate compassion, caring, professional, is charming. The guy is engaging. There's nothing not to like about Randy Connor. The family has a great legacy in the city, and you just took it to the next level, Randy. Thank you so much. Outside of the city, people respect him so much, and I'm sure that he's going to do so well outside of here. So I'll be seeing you. I know I'll be seeing you around, and hopefully at your birthday party soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Cardenas. Next up, Alderman Moore.
Thank you, Madam President. I definitely rise in support of this resolution. Randy, when you called me and you told me you're leaving, one of the first things, I don't know if I asked or you just stated it, you said, I'm leaving on my own accord. No one is pushing me out. And I always remember Reverend Clay Evans taught me it's good to leave while people still want you, instead of people pushing you out the door. And you're leaving at a time when people still want you to stay. That's a testament to who you are and to everything that everyone said. For me, there's a couple of things that I truly remember that truly stand out, and that you've never lied to me, which was always critical, and that you always kept it even keel in terms of communication. Sometimes I'll go up, and you just bring it back down. And for that, I appreciate it because you kept us on track. And for that, I'll never forget. And I think I know where you're going. and the fact that I think I know where you're going still helps me right now. And I just want to say thank you so much, and I could look forward to continuing to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Moore. Next up, Alderman Lopez.
Thank you, Madam President. Good morning, members of the City Council. Good morning, Randy. I think all of us have a story that we can regale when it comes to you, and I think that's a testament to your impact on our city. You are probably one of the few individuals who's touched literally every corner of the city of Chicago, and in positive ways that we could spend all day talking about. But I would be remiss if I did not stand up and say how proud I am to know you professionally, personally, and as you move forward, just know that I got you too. So thank you, Madam President.
Lopez. Next up, Alderman Thompson.
Thank you, Madam President. I too stand to honor Randy for your public service. You are a true public servant. You've worked in various departments, and each time you were moved, it's because you were an effective and strong leader. So I'm very proud to call you my friend. You're a credit to the city of Chicago and a credit to your family. So on behalf of the residents of the 11th Ward, I want to say congratulations, thank you, and best wishes.
Thompson. Next up, Alderman Raboyos.
Thank you, Madam President. I too stand in support of this resolution. Randy, everyone said pretty much everything of what I was going to say. But as I enter my 43rd year in city government, watch that. I started when I was 10. Randy, you were in diapers. You were in diapers. But a sign of a good leader is that you make the calls according to who's responsible. When it gets to the top, and that's the wrong move. And that's what I did. And I know what you did in the water department. I know what you did in CDOT. I worked previously with a member of your family in Streets and Sand. So I know you left a legacy. Your family has left a legacy. You just started. You're 29 years old. And the fact is that you have a future ahead of you. And we're here to support you. I appreciate everything that you did for the city of Chicago. And we will sorely miss you. So congratulations and beyond, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Raboyos. Next up, Alderman Brookins.
I rise in support of this resolution. And Randy, I'm going to be really brief and say thank you for your years of service. Thank you for your dedication to the city. I wish you good health and much success in all your future endeavors. The only one mistake I know that you made is pledging the same fraternity as that guy down there. That's the only mistake I've known you to make. So good luck to you. God bless you.
Alderman Brookins. Next up, Alderman Gardner.
I don't know how I turn this. Oh,
All right, Randy, I want to say thank you. I haven't been able to work with you. My relationship with you hasn't been as long as a lot of my more senior colleagues, obviously. But that short amount of time that I was able to work with you, and I'm sure you probably remember the instance. We had 4 consecutive blocks in my ward that for years looked more like streets in a third world country than it did in the city of Chicago. And when I tried to go around and explain this to a lot of my constituents, I had no answer for them. And I didn't know who to reach out to. And fortunately, I reached out to you. Not only did you accept my call and you walked me through the process on what exactly we had to get done, but you actually came out to the scene, to the site. And you helped me work that process with those 2 different parties that had a slight disagreement. We could say that. And I know those times were a little bumpy. And I'm sure, especially somebody as new as you were probably looking at me a little half-cocked, like, well, who's this guy? But it was extremely important to my constituents. And I felt like my back was against the wall. And not only were we able to get those PDs connected, we were able to get those 4 streets, which was right by a school, freshly paved. And I ended up looking like a hero to a lot of these people. And I was only in office for a year. But the reality was, without your help, without your assistance, without your coaching, that would not have been possible. So I will always remember that, because that to me right there during that time was the biggest thing, I was trying to solve. And it may seem small to you because you go through it all the time. I will always remember that. And I will always be grateful for that time and that energy that you spent with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Gardner. Next up, Alderman Dow.
Thank you, Madam President. Hi, Randy. I just wanted to thank you for being the great public servant that you've been. I want to thank you for working with me on all the fire hydrants, failed water mains, restorations, anything on the government side. You've been terrific to work with, and I wish you well. On the non-government side, I want to thank you for thinking of me on my birthdays. And I want to thank you for leading Phi Beta Sigma. Your leadership there has made a difference in my ward. Your fraternity brothers have always come out to work in my senior buildings to help with cleanup, and your leadership started that. And so I wanted to thank you for all the work that you've done there. So I wish you the best as you move forward with life, and see you around. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Dow. Next up, Alderman Taliaferro.
Thank you, Madam President. I too rise in support of this resolution. And just want to say thank you very much, Randy, for all that you've done for me and my constituents in the 29th Ward. One of my colleagues said it very clearly. Your leadership is evident because the city relied on you and called on you to handle a very, very important matter. And that's taking over a department that was in need of strong leadership. And you took a challenge that many people would seriously fail at because it's very hard to root out racism. But I think your leadership and what all of us are saying here today and what the city spoke very clearly on is that this is the man for the job. This is the man that we know and that we can trust will rebuild and rebrand the water department. And Randy, you've succeeded. And so I want to say thank you for that because I know the task that was before you, being raised in the South, it's not difficult. I mean, it's not easy to get rid of racism. And we still struggle, but you've made our department a whole lot better. So beyond sinkholes, beyond hydrants, and beyond a lot of things that we're so grateful for, I'm truly grateful because you've taken the city on your shoulders and your leadership, and I say it's your leadership as the head of that department that was able to build it from the position that it was in, the criticism that it was receiving, and the lawsuits that we're still battling. It's because of your leadership that we as a city are in a better position. So I want to say thank you and congratulate you on the next leg of your journey. And I believe that whatever problems you may face there, I could say with confidence that you'll succeed there as well. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Alderman Taliaferro. Next up, Alderman Coleman.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. And to Commissioner, retired Commissioner, you know, I'm kind of in my feelings right now because I did not get to experience all the many years as a freshman alderman of your expertise, Uncle Randy, but I know that I can call you as I have continued to call you even post your retirement. Your new company is so fortunate and so blessed to have Randy Connor. They just don't make them like you anymore. Randy, you understood truly the challenges of serving communities on the South and West Side. You understand our culture. You understand the investment and the need for infrastructure and the many challenges that our communities face. And I know that post the city of Chicago, you will continue in culture for service and service for humanity as the motto of your great organization. I love you. I look forward to the next barbecue, to all of the events. Before there was an Alderman Coleman, there was Stephanie, who Chairman Austin brought to all of your events. And I was so blessed to have met so many city leaders and those that I see now in the departments, because I was taught that relationships are built and not transferable. God bless you, Randy. And I am looking forward to your next.
Thank you, Alderwoman Coleman. Next up, Alderman Napolitano.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on this resolution. Commissioner, been a pleasure to work with you. From the Northwest side of Chicago, we truly appreciate your time, effort, and dedication to the city of Chicago. What you've done for us up on the Northwest side, we've changed over a lot of things that were many years, many centuries old, and I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the phone calls, and I appreciate the incredible, impeccable amount of communication between you and the rest of your department. You're leaving a legacy behind you, and I appreciate all you do. Enjoy your retirement. I know you're probably going to go on to keep working, but take some time to yourself as well and enjoy it. So I appreciate all you've done. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Alderman Napolitano. Next up, Alderman Irvin.
Thank you, Madam President. I too wanted to rise. Randy, you're probably one of the first members of the administration that I met becoming alderman. And I'll tell you the advice and the work that you have done has helped transform the West Side 28th Ward to where it is today. So I just want to thank you on behalf of residents of Garfield Park, Austin, North Lawndale, for the work that you've done just to the core of the West Side. I'll never forget this. When we rode over there near the Northwest Industrial Corridor, when we had lots with garbage piled 2 and 3 feet high, and to see those high lifts come in and to clean that area just at the drop of a dime, and what you guys did to help us over there. And again, I had been in office a week at the time, but inundated with many things. So thank you for your service. Thank you for all that you have done. I didn't get the non-governmental stuff. So hopefully after you leave government, we can inure some of those benefits upon us as well. So, but God bless you. God bless everything that you're doing. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Alderman Irvin. And last and never least, Chairman Gary Austin.
Thank you, Madam President. I have to say, Randy, sitting here, I feel like a proud mother because I have watched you grow from a young worker in transportation under Tony Pasillo. And I think, Walter, back then it was called Public Works. I am just so proud to listen at all the accolades that my colleagues have bestowed upon you, because I know the struggle that you have went through in order to be the former commissioner of the water department, but to have been the commissioner of streets and sanitation, the first deputy of the Department of Transportation. I know your struggles. I know what it took for you to get there. A lot of times everybody say you called them back and everything, but you smiled and grit your teeth. So to say, how will I get this done? I'm grateful to know that you love the Lord, because a lot of times it took the Lord to get some of this done that you have done for us, the public. I remember when you were a young commissioner in Department of Transportation, and we had a water main break that I thought would never get fixed. And within a day or so, that water main, you never knew it was there, no more than knowing that you lived on the block. That was your dedication. But I've been in many other areas where I saw your dedication blossom all over this city. I know that you have left us, but you have left an imprint, Randy, that none of us will never forget. I know the mayor probably tried to bribe you to stay. She probably offered you some Planters peanuts and some Skittles and so forth. Say, Randy, why don't you stay? But like any other young man, you want to spread your wings. And to be able to spread your wings to go on to other things, other avenues. We all bless you in that and look forward to working with you in your new endeavors. Coming up under your uncle and your father, or no, uncles and your father, I'm grateful to have known and to be a part of the Connor family. I know that Al and Bear and Earp are all very proud of you because you come from a family of morals, respect, that love one another. And I'm grateful to have been a part of that. Randy, good luck in wherever you go. But the one thing, never let go of the hand of the Lord. Because your journey that you're on now will be complete, would not be if it had not been for God. Thank you so very much, Madam President, for this young man that the city is losing. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Alderman Austin. And as a co-sponsor of this resolution, I too rise in support. Many of you have heaped due praise on Randy Connor for his years of service and dedication and commitment to the city of Chicago. And you've referenced his family, and let me highlight a few points. He is the son of the late Alfonso, also known as Bear Connor, a cement finisher foreman with the Chicago Department of Transportation, and is a nephew of the late Al Connor, who was a former deputy commissioner at CDOT in the Bureau of Streets. 25 years of service to the city of Chicago. Last as the commissioner of the Department of Water, where he managed over 2,100 employees and an operating budget over $1 billion and a capital budget of $750 million annually, which allowed the delivery of high quality drinking water to more than 40% of this state's residents. Randy is known as, and rightfully so, an effective, team-oriented, hardworking, and dedicated leader and a colleague. You stand in this well and get the kind of praise that you have from so many. What it says to me is it's a testament of how you have not only been responsive, not only done your job well, but done it with empathy and humanity and helping the aldermen, and in doing so, helping their residents and helping the city. You will be missed. You are already missed, and we wish you absolutely the best in the next chapter of your life. Thank you so much for the service to the city of Chicago, and congratulations. Yeah. The chair recognizes Alderman Maldonado.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please recognize as being present?
Alderman Mitchell, may I get a resolution, get a motion for passage of this resolution?
Yeah, Madam President, I move passage of this resolution into the omnibus.
Hearing no objections, so ordered. Next up on the agenda, ladies and gentlemen, are communication. Madam Clerk.
A series of communications from Her Honor the Mayor to the Honorable the City Council of the City of Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the Comptroller, I transmit herewith an ordinance amending the municipal code to require delivery companies to collect and remit the city's restaurant tax. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, for the Committee on Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the Commissioner of Planning and Development, I transmit herewith an ordinance authorizing support for the expansion of Chicago Enterprise Zone Number 1. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, referred to the Committee on Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the Commissioner of Housing, I transmit herewith an ordinance expanding the TIF vacant building purchase rehabilitation program to include multi-use buildings. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, referred to the Committee on Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of Commissioner of Planning and Development, I transmit herewith ordinances authorizing the execution of intergovernmental agreements with the Chicago Park District to provide TIF funding for various park improvements. Your favorable consideration of these ordinances will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, referred to the Committee on Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of Commissioner of Housing, I transmit herewith an ordinance authorizing the restructuring of city loans for the Prairie Park Apartments Capital Repairs Project. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, referred to the Committee on Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of Commissioner of Housing, I transmit herewith an ordinance authorizing financial assistance for the Metropolitan Apartments Affordable Housing Development Project. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, referred to the Committee on Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the Fire Commissioner, I transmit herewith an ordinance amending the municipal code regarding enforcement and adjudication of fire code violations of Chicago Airport. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, referred to the Committee on Aviation. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the Budget Director, I transmit herewith a Fund 925 amendment. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, referred to the Committee on Budget and Government Operations. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the Commissioner of Planning and Development, I transmit herewith an ordinance authorizing a Class 7B tax status for properly located at 8560 South Cottage Avenue. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, referred to the Committee on Economic Capital and Technology Development. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of Commissioner of Family and Support Services, I transmit herewith an ordinance authorizing the execution of a contract with EX3 Labs LLC for the creation of a mobile application. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, for the Committee on Education and Child Development. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of Commissioner of Assets Information Services, I transmit herewith an ordinance authorizing the execution of a lease agreement with the Chicago Park District. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, referred to the Committee on Housing and Real Estate. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the Commissioner of Assets Information Services, I transmit herewith an ordinance authorizing the execution of a lease agreement with the Public Health Institute of Metropolitan Chicago. Favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, referred to the Committee on Housing and Real Estate. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the Commissioner of Transportation, I transmit herewith an ordinance authorizing a right-of-way acquisition of the Division Street Reconstruction Project. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, referred to the Committee on Housing and Real Estate. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the Commissioner of Assets Information Services, I transmit herewith an ordinance authorizing the execution of a lease agreement with Neighbor Space. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, referred to the Committee on Housing and Real Estate. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of Commissioner of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, I transmit herewith here together with Alderman Mitz, Kappelman, Cardenas, Wagaspack, and Raboyes, an ordinance amending various business-related provisions of the municipal code regarding the Shy Biz Strong initiative. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, refer to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 committees have been called and will go to rules. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the Commissioner of Cultural Affairs and Special Events, I transmit herewith an ordinance amending the municipal code regarding the regulation of city-designated independent farmers market. For favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor, refer to the Committee on Special Events, Cultural Affairs, and Recreation. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the Commissioner of Transportation, I transmit herewith an ordinance authorizing the execution of 31st Amendment to the District Cooling System Use Agreement. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor. Refer to the Committee on Transportation and Public Way. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the Commissioner of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, I transmit here together with Alderman Garza, Cardenas, Cardona, and Irvin an ordinance amending and consolidating workforce-related provisions of municipal code regarding the Shy Biz Strong Initiative. Your favorable consideration of this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor. For the Committee on Workforce Development. Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the Commissioner of Buildings, I transmit here with an ordinance making technical corrections to various construction-related provisions of municipal code. For favorable consideration, this ordinance will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor. For the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Ladies and gentlemen, I have appointed Celia Meza as Corporation Counsel. For favorable consideration of this appointment will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor. Refer to the Committee on Budget and Government Operations. Ladies and gentlemen, I have appointed Brandy Canazzi as Commissioner of Family and Support Services. Your favorable consideration of this appointment will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor. For the Committee on Budget and Government Operations. Ladies and gentlemen, I've appointed Andrea Chang as Commissioner of Water Management. Your favorable consideration of this appointment will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor. Refer to the Committee on Budget and Government Operations. Ladies and gentlemen, I have appointed Annette Nance Holt as Fire Commissioner. Your favorable consideration of this appointment will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor. Refer to the Committee on Public Safety. Ladies and gentlemen, I transmit here appointments to various special service areas. Your favorable consideration of these appointments will be appreciated. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor. Refer to the Committee on Economic, Capital, and Technology Development.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm adding a new chapter 2-80 and amending the MCC regarding civilian police oversight. Very truly yours, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor. Referred to the Committee on Public Safety. I, City Clerk Anna Valencia, hereby inform the City Council that the following documents were filed in my office relating to the respective subjects designated as follows. Funding loan notification of City of Chicago Housing Revenue Note Series 2021. Paseo Boricua, Series 21, 9th amended and reissued Department of Health Order number 2020-5 concerning evening cessation of alcoholic liquor scales. 7th amended and reissued Department of Health Order number 2020-9, specifying guidelines for city's bridge phase gradually resumed guidelines. Office of Inspector General second interim report on Chicago Police Department search warrant accuracy from 2017 through 2020. Office of Inspector General's audit report on Chicago's fire department's policies and practices related to discrimination and sexual harassment. Office of Inspector General's audit report on Chicago Department of Public Health's data privacy and cybersecurity involving COVID-19 contact tracing program, and Office of Inspector General's review of disciplinary grievance procedure for Chicago Police Department. I, City Clerk Valencia, also informed the City Council that all those matters which were considered by the City Council at the regular meeting held on April 21st, 2021, and which were required by statute to be published in book or pamphlet form, or one or more newspapers were published in pamphlet form on May 26, 2021, by being printed in full text, printed pamphlet copies of the journal proceedings of the City Council of the City of Chicago. I, City Clerk Valencia, also transmit herewith the following miscellaneous communications and reports requiring City Council action. Zoning reclassifications of particular areas which are referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Claims against the City of Chicago which are referred to the Committee on Finance. Recommendation by Commission on Chicago Landmarks for designation the Morton Salt Company Warehouse Complex at 1357 North Elston Avenue as Chicago Landmark, which is referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Your Honor, that concludes mayoral and clerk's communication.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next up is committee reports. Let's start with the Committee on Finance. Chairman Wagasback.
Thank you, Madam President. Reporting for the City Council's Committee on Finance, which met on May 24th, 2021. Item number 1 is a communication authorizing an amendment to the redevelopment agreement with Our Revival Chicago LLC for acquisition of Remova Theater, an adjacent parcel, and provision of tax increment financing or TIF assistance funds. The item received favorable approval by the committee. If no one wishes to speak on this matter, I move to concur with the recommendation of the committee by roll call vote.
Alderman LaSpada. Alderman LaSpada is an aye. Alderman Hopkins. Alderman
Aye.
Hopkins. Alderman Hopkins is an aye. Alderman Dow.
Aye.
Alderman Dow is an aye. Alderman King.
Aye.
Alderman King is an aye. Alderman Hairston.
Aye.
Alderman Hairston is an aye. Alderman Sawyer.
Aye.
Alderman Sawyer is an aye. Alderman Mitchell.
Aye.
Alderman Mitchell is an aye. Alderman Harris.
Aye.
Alderman Harris is an aye. Alderman Beal.
Yep.
Alderman Beal is an aye. Alderman Zulowski Garza.
Aye.
Alderman Zulowski Garza is an aye. Alderman Thompson.
Aye.
Alderman Thompson is an aye. Alderman Cardenas.
Aye.
Alderman Cardenas is an aye. Alderman Quinn.
Aye.
Alderman Quinn is an aye. Alderman Burke.
Aye.
Alderman Burke is an aye. Alderman Lopez.
Aye.
Alderman Lopez is an aye. Alderman Coleman.
Aye.
Alderman Coleman is an aye. Alderman Moore.
Aye.
Alderman Moore is an aye. Alderman Curtis.
Aye.
Alderman Curtis is an aye. Alderman O'Shea. Alderman O'Shea is an aye. Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor is an aye. Alderman Brookins. Alderman Brookins is an aye. Alderman Rodriguez.
Aye.
Alderman Rodriguez is an aye. Alderman Tabarez. Alderman Tabarez is an aye. Alderman Scott.
Aye.
Alderman Scott is an aye. Alderman Cicho Lopez.
Aye.
Alderman Cicho Lopez is an aye. Alderman Maldonado.
Aye.
Alderman Maldonado is an aye. Alderman Burnett.
Aye.
Alderman Burnett is an aye. Alderman Urban.
Aye.
Alderman Urban is an aye. Alderman Talaferro.
Aye.
Alderman Talaferro is an aye. Alderman Raboyes.
Aye.
Alderman Raboyes is an aye. Alderman Cardona.
Aye.
Alderman Cardona is an aye. Alderman Wagaspack.
Aye.
Alderman Wagaspack is an aye. Alderman Rodriguez Sanchez.
Aye.
Alderman Rodriguez Sanchez is an aye. Alderman Austin.
Aye.
Alderman Austin is an aye. Alderman Ramirez Rosa.
Aye.
Alderman Ramirez Rosa is an aye. Alderman Villegas.
Aye.
Alderman Villegas is an aye. Alderman Mitz.
Aye.
Alderman Mitz is an aye. Alderman Spasato.
Spasato's an aye.
Alderman Spasato is an aye. Alderman Nugent. Aye. Alderman Nugent is an aye. Alderman Vasquez.
Aye.
Alderman Vasquez is an aye. Alderman Napolitano.
Aye.
Alderman Napolitano is an aye. Alderman Riley.
Aye.
Alderman Riley is an aye. Alderman Smith. Alderman Smith.
Aye.
Alderman Smith is an aye. Alderman Tunney.
Aye.
Alderman Tunney is an aye. Alderman Gardner.
Aye.
Alderman Gardner is an aye. Alderman Kappelman.
Aye.
Alderman Kappelman is an aye. Alderman Martin.
Aye.
Alderman Martin is an aye. Alderman Osterman.
Aye.
Alderman Osterman is an aye. Alderman Haddon. Alderman Haddon is an aye. Alderman Silverstein. Aye. Alderman Silverstein is an aye.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 0. Alderman Thompson on the motion for
Thank you,
reconsideration.
Madam President. Motion to reconsider the vote.
All those in favor of the motion for reconsideration signify by saying aye. All those opposed say nay. The nays have it. The motion for reconsideration is denied. Chairman Wagasback.
Item number 2 is a communication authorizing the bond inducement language for up to $27 million in multifamily revenue bonds for West Haven Park 2D LLC for acquisition and construction of low-income housing development at 145 North Damon Avenue in the 27th Ward. This item also received favorable approval by the committee. If no one wishes to speak on the matter, I move passage by the first most favorable roll call vote of the Committee on Finance report and corresponding unsuccessful motion to reconsider.
No objection.
Madam President, item number 3 is regarding monthly settlements through the Law Department and will be placed on file with the clerk. Items 4 and 5 consist of authorizations for the payment of various small claims against the city and denial of payment of various small claims against the city. If there is no objection, I ask that these items be placed on the omnibus.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
Item number 6 consists of one order authorizing 3 tag day permits for Children International Foundation, the Nature Conservancy, and the United Breast Cancer Foundation Incorporated. If there's no objection, I ask that these items be placed on the omnibus.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
On item number 7, A, B, and C, these are 3 orders authorizing Corporation Counsel to enter into and execute settlements in the cases of Tucker, Jones, and 1 Chicago Square. For item A, I move passage by the first most favorable roll call vote of the Committee on Finance report and corresponding unsuccessful motion to reconsider, with the exception that Alderman Raboyes would like to be recorded as voting no on 7A.
Alderman Ragoyes' no vote is duly recorded and reflected in the record. Hearing no other objections, so ordered.
Thank you. On item 7B, we have several people that would like to be recorded as no. And otherwise, I move passage by the first most favorable roll call of the Committee on Finance report and corresponding unsuccessful motion to reconsider, with the exceptions of Alderman Lopez, Moore, Raboyes, Napolitano, and Tabarez.
All right, those no votes are duly noted on the record. Alderman Villegas?
Madam Chair, can you add me to that list as well?
All right, the Alderman Villegas is added to the no votes,
Also Alderman Gardner, I'm mistaken.
and Alderman Gardner. The chair recognizes Alderman Lopez.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to thank Chairman Wagaspack and his committee. I was not able to be a part of this briefing, but I do know that I have serious objection to the settlement for once again rewarding bad behavior. It's my understanding that this was a traffic stop where the individual left, another passenger jumped out with cocaine on him. And despite all of that, taxpayers are now on the hook for $250,000. I respectfully ask the members of this committee who have not voted no on this item to consider voting no at this time. Thank you, Madam President.
The chair recognizes Chairman Wagaspack.
Alderman Cardona would also like to be recorded as voting no on this
So
item.
reflected in the motion, as well as Alderman Riley.
Madam President, Alderman Curtis.
Why don't you just call it?
Pardon me? Alderman Burke, you'd like a roll call? Madam Clerk.
Madam President, you're going to
Okay.
Chair recognizes Alderman.
Thank you, Madam President. I do want to speak before we vote on this. Let's be clear here. As members of this body, we have a police department, and one of the bad things necessarily for municipalities about having police departments is that you get sued. I think that we have to be truthful and honest when we talk about these settlements and talk about the whole picture. My colleague from the 15th Ward is correct in his statement, but it wasn't full statement. We have to talk about the fact that things get thrown out in court, and that while we don't like to do these things, these are necessary as part of our responsibility as aldermen, as members of the corporate authority. These symbolic no votes for whatever reason don't sit with the reality that we face. And while we may be making a statement, it's not grounded in the reality that our police officers are having to deal with out here in the street. Now, granted, I don't like to make these votes. I don't like to see these checks get cut. But the reality is, as a municipality, this is our responsibility. If a young person is wronged, if anyone is wronged and whatever happens, we as government have a greater responsibility than anyone else. So I would hope that we can think about that in that lens versus just throwing out no's and putting only our police officers, putting our law department in a precarious position of having to deal with these items when they go before these federal magistrates. I've been there as a village manager. It is not fun to go back to your board and tell them they have to cut a check because they're not fully aware or understanding of what the law is. In many of these cases, I fully trust what Renee Rodney, our first assistant, tells us. And again, we have to get beyond just tossing these no's out just in some form of symbolism, so that for whatever reason, let's need to be honest and work with our corporation counsel and try to get down to the root causes of some of these issues that we talked about, but just to symbolically continue to throw out these no votes without fully understanding why our council are recommending these items. It does a disservice to them, it does a disservice to our communities, and also does a disservice to this body. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Alderman Irvin. Let's go to Alderman Cardenas, and then Alderman Wagaspack will come back to you before the roll call.
Thank you, Madam President. I too join my colleague Irving, Jason Irvin, on this. It's not activism here. It's just being responsible, voting for something that the attorneys from the city have explained fully why they think they ought to settle. Irrespective, and sometimes difficult, when we see, like my colleague was explaining, the fact that there's cocaine on the person. And it's all the other things that also come into play when analyzing a settlement that brings us to a decision, painful decision as it may be, to make that decision, to look out for the taxpayers of the city. And that's at the end why we're here. So I would urge my colleagues to think about that. Of course, you want to put a no up there so people know that you're supporting the police. I support the police as well. But this is about the taxpayers and minimizing risk for our city. Thank you.
Chairman Wagasback, a quick question before that roll call vote. Am I correct that this matter went to verdict at a higher level?
Yes, Madam President.
And am I also correct that this settlement is for less than the verdict amount?
Yes, Madam President. I think
The verdict, I
about
believe, was
4 million.
750,000, and the proposed settlement is 500,000. So saving the taxpayers $250,000 after a verdict. Is that
At a
correct?
minimum, yes.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Laspada. Alderman Laspada is an aye. Alderman Hopkins.
Aye.
Alderman Hopkins is an aye. Alderman Dow. Aye. Alderman Dow is an aye. Alderman King.
Aye.
Alderman King is an aye. Alderman Hairston.
Aye.
Alderman Harrison is an aye. Alderman Sawyer.
Aye.
Alderman Sawyer is an aye. Alderman Mitchell.
Aye.
Alderman Mitchell is an aye. Alderman Harris.
Aye.
Alderman Harris is an aye. Alderman Beal.
No.
Alderman Beal is a no. Alderman Zulowski Garza.
Aye.
Alderman Zulowski Garza is an aye. Alderman Thompson.
Aye.
Alderman Thompson is an aye. Alderman Cardenas.
Aye.
Alderman Cardenas is an aye. Alderman Quinn.
No.
Alderman Quinn is a no. Alderman Burke.
No.
Alderman Burke is a no. Alderman Lopez.
No.
Alderman Lopez is a no. Alderman Coleman.
Aye.
Alderman Coleman is an aye. Alderman Moore.
Aye.
Alderman Moore is an aye. Alderman Curtis. Alderman Curtis.
Aye.
Alderman Curtis is an aye. Alderman O'Shea. Alderman O'Shea is an aye. Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor is an aye. Alderman Brookins. Alderman Brookins is an aye. Alderman Rodriguez.
Aye.
Alderman Rodriguez is an aye. Alderman Tabarez. Alderman Tabarez is a no. Alderman Scott.
Aye.
Alderman Scott is an aye. Alderman Cicho Lopez.
Aye.
Alderman Cicho Lopez is an aye. Alderman Maldonado. Alderman Maldonado is an aye. Alderman Burnett.
Aye.
Alderman Burnett is an aye. Alderman Irvin.
Aye.
Alderman Irvin is an aye. Alderman Talaferro.
Aye.
Alderman Talaferro is an aye. Alderman Raboyes.
No.
Alderman Raboyes is a no. Alderman Cardona. Alderman Cardona is a no. Alderman Wagaspack.
Aye.
Alderman Wagaspack is an aye. Alderman Rodriguez Sanchez.
Aye.
Alderman Rodriguez Sanchez is an aye. Alderman Austin.
Aye.
Alderman Austin is an aye. Alderman Ramirez Rosa.
Aye.
Alderman Ramirez Rosa is an aye. Alderman Villegas.
No.
Alderman Villegas is a no. Alderman Metz.
Aye.
Alderman Metz.
Aye.
Alderman Metz is an aye. Alderman Sposato.
Nick Sposato is an aye.
Alderman Sposato is an aye. Alderman Nugent. Aye. Alderman Nugent is an aye. Alderman Vasquez.
Aye.
Alderman Vasquez is an aye. Alderman Napolitano.
No.
Alderman Napolitano is a no. Alderman Riley.
No.
Alderman Riley is a no. Alderman Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Smith is a yes. Alderman Tunney.
Aye.
Alderman Tunney is an aye. Alderman Gardner.
No.
Alderman Gardner is a no. Alderman Kappelman. Alderman Kappelman is an aye. Alderman Martin.
Aye.
Alderman Martin is an aye. Alderman Osterman. Alderman Osterman is an aye. Alderman Haddon.
Aye.
Alderman Haddon is an aye. Alderman Silverstein.
Aye.
Alderman Silverstein is an aye.
The yeas are 39, the nays are 11. The motion passes. Alderman Thompson on the motion for reconsideration.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to reconsider the vote.
All those in favor of the motion for reconsideration signify by saying aye. All those opposed say nay.
No.
The nays have it. The motion fails. Chairman Wagasback, back to you.
Thank you, Madam President. Item 7C is a proposed pre-litigation settlement with One Chicago Square. And if I'm not mistaken, the Department of Law did check and do additional due diligence and responded to questions in the committee. And I believe the Alderman received that information on the question of the slip tunnel or the drift tunnel and the sewer line incursions on this project. This is a proposed pre-litigation settlement in the amount of $410,000. I move passage by the first most favorable roll call vote of the Committee on Finance report and corresponding unsuccessful motion to reconsider on this item.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
Madam President, this concludes the report of the Committee on Finance.
Thank you, Chairman Wagasback. Next up, the Committee on Budget and Government Operations. Chairman Dow.
Thank you, Madam President, and members of the City Council. Reporting for your Committee on the Budget and Government Operations, which held a meeting on May 19th, 2021, and a reconvened meeting on May 21st, 2021. The committee recommends passage of the following items. Number one, an ordinance concerning an allocation of Neighborhood Opportunity Fund grant to South Oakley Venture LLC and Bridgewater Studios, Inc. for the rehabilitation and expansion of the facility located at 4834 South Oakley in the 15th Ward. I move passage of this item by the first favorable roll call vote of the Committee on Finance and associated unsuccessful motion to reconsider.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
A substitute ordinance, number two is a substitute ordinance concerning an amendment to the annual appropriation ordinance year 2021 within Fund Number 925 for the Office of the Mayor, the Chicago Department of Public Health, and the Department of Family and Support Services. I move passage of this item by the same motion if there is no objection.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
Item number three, an ordinance introduced by Alderman Carrie Austin of the 34th Ward, approving the transfer of funds within the City Council Committee on Contracting Oversight and Equity for the year 2021. I move passage of this item by the same motion if there is no objection.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
Number four, an ordinance introduced by Alderman Brendan Riley of the 42nd Ward, approving the transfer of funds within the City Council Legislative Reference Bureau for the year 2021. I move passage of this item by the same motion if there is no objection.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
This concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you, Chairman Dow.
Thank
Next up, Committee on Committee and Rules, Chairman Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. For the Committee on Committees Rules, which met Tuesday, May 26th at 3 p.m., I have 5 items to report on. The approval of the December 2020 monthly Rule 45 report for the Committee on Committees and Rules. Item 2 is an ordinance 2021-281, journal correction of the journal proceedings of September 9th, 2020. Item 3, ordinance 2021-617, journal corrections of proceedings September 18th, 2019. Item 4, ordinance 2021-1633, amendment of the municipal code, section 4-60-022, to allow additional alcohol liquor licenses on a portion of West 87th Street, was re-referred to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. And finally, item 5, ordinance 2021-1634, amendment of the municipal code, section 4-20-022, to allow additional alcohol liquor licenses on a portion of West 87. It was re-referred to the Committee on the Committees of License and Consumer Protection. The recommendation of approval of item 1, the monthly report, was approved by the committee by the same roll call that was applied to the term quorum. Items 2 and 3, journal corrections of September 9th, 2020, September 18th, 2019, and items 4 and 5, the re-referral of the ordinance received due pass by the committee as the same roll call vote as was applied to determine quorum. I move to concur in the recommendation of the committee by the last most favorable roll call, the report of the Committee on Finance, and the same motion to reconsider if there's no objections.
Hearing no objections, so ordered.
Thank you, Madam President. That concludes my report.
Next up, the Committee on Economic Capital and Technology Development, Chairman Villegas.
Madam President, members of the City Council, reporting for the Committee on Economic Capital and Technology Development, which held a meeting on May 18th, 2021. The committee recommends passage of the following items. Items 1 through 4 are a series of appointments and reappointments to the various special service areas. These items were voted on collectively. Reappointment of Richard Juarez Sr. as a member of SSA number 25, Little Village Commission. appointment of Henrik Christensen as member of SSA number 60, Albany Park Commission, and appointments of David Israel and Joseph Lombardo as members of the SSA number 75, the Oak Street Commission. I move passage of these items by the first favorable roll call vote of the Committee on Finance and the associated unsuccessful motion to reconsider. Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Chairman Villegas. Next up, Committee on Health and Human Relations, Chairman Sawyer.
Thank you, Madam President, and members of the City Council. Reporting on your Committee on Health and Human Relations, which held a remote meeting on May 3rd, 2021. The committee recommends passage of the following item: the appointment of Mamadou Diakate as Executive Director of Animal Care and Control. I move passage of this item by the first most favorable roll call vote of the Committee on Finance and associated unsuccessful motion to reconsider. The committee also held a subject matter hearing regarding an update on the city's actions. I'm sorry.
Hold on 1 second. Hearing no objection, so ordered.
Thank you. The committee also held a subject matter hearing regarding an update on the city's actions in response to COVID-19. No votes were taken. That concludes my report. Thank you, Madam President.
The chair recognizes Alderman Beal.
Thank you, Madam President. I was attempting to speak on the appointment of this wonderful gentleman over in animal control. I think this was a great appointment. This is someone who works extremely well with all of us and has a deep passion for pets and animals. And we just want to say thank you for making this appointment. I believe that it was long overdue, but here we are today. Congratulations, and we look forward to continuing the work that you are doing in that department. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Alderman Beal. Next up, the chair recognizes Alderman Sposato.
Thank you, Madam President. I too support this recommendation. Mamadou, you're awesome, dude. True passion for animals. There is one problem with him, and it's not his problem, it's our problem. He doesn't have enough money, enough people in animal care and control. So hopefully this budget, we can figure out a way to help him out a little bit more to be successful, because I'm guessing now that our world's getting back to normal, we're gonna be getting a lot of pets coming back. So Mamadou, best wishes to you. You know, you can always count on me for support. Best wishes. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Alderman Sposato. The chair recognizes Alderman Villegas.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to rise as well for this appointment. This is a great appointment. I remember being on the job 6 months, and I had a constituent of mine tell me that there was a house with a lot of cats, and didn't know what that meant. So I drove over there. We had about 150 cats in a home. 6 months in, they're like, call Mamadou, they'll help. I'm like, call who? Call my mama? No, call Mamadou. I went ahead and called Mamadou. I said, sir, Mamadou, I need your help here. There's a house full of cats. And when he came out and he saw what he saw, he had never seen that. He said, I've never seen this before in my tenure with the animal control. But it was his leadership that we were able to find homes for some of these cats and develop a strategy to address this issue. Because this was something that, there was a person who had some mental health issues that had lost a house in a foreclosure and really didn't know what to do. And so left the cats there and kept coming back on a daily basis to feed them. And so Mamadou gave us a strategy to implement. And again, I'm always grateful for your assistance, because I was only 6 months in. So this is a great appointment. I look forward to working with you as we move forward. Thank you, Mamadou. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Alderman Villegas. The chair recognizes Alderman Lopez.
Thank you, Madam President, and I too rise in support of your great appointment. I applaud you for this. Mamadou and I have known each other almost the entirety of my career here on City Council, and despite sometimes strenuous relationship with animal care and control, Mamadou has been a consistent force advocating for the animals in our community. He and I have been on the streets collecting horses, wild dogs, roosters, and I know he's gotten 2 pigs when I wasn't around, and I don't know how he managed that. But he has been one of the most hands-on city department leaders that I know, particularly in our neighborhoods where wildlife, farm animals, and the like are becoming more and more prevalent, something that he and I have both worked to address. So I know that he will continue to do the good work that he has been doing for the last several years in that department, inspiring the workers, inspiring our community partners and agencies who also are responsible for keeping our numbers down. And I could not be happier than to vote for his confirmation today. Thank you, Madam President.
Chair recognizes Alderman O'Shea.
Thank you, Madam President. I too rise in support of this appointment. I've worked with Mamadou for a long time, and any story any of you might have, I could top it. I've worked with him on dogs, cats, fox, chickens, squirrels, dragons, unicorns, all of them in my neighborhood. You are a true professional, and I look forward to working with you as director. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman O'Shea. The chair recognizes Alderman Vasquez.
Rise in support and really commend you on this appointment. In getting elected, we thought about a lot of things we'd be tackling. I never thought we'd spend time hunting coyotes. And I want to thank Mamadou for all the work in the 40th Ward. When we were being inundated by packs of coyotes, I had no idea the city even did that kind of work. And I just want to thank you for all that and really the heart you bring to the role. And I look forward to working with you as more issues come up. So thank you very much, Mamadou.
The chair recognizes Alderman Burnett.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I also like to stand in support of this appointment, commend you on this appointment. No one is more well-deserved than Mamadou. He has served up under several commissioners, and each time you would call the commissioner for some help, they'll say, call Mamadou. He's the one who always did the job. He seemed like he was it seemed like they didn't have anybody else working at animal control except Mamadou. And I'm gonna tell you, he gets the job done. He's so hands-on. And he's just like I mentioned with Randy Connors. You can call Mamadou any time of the day or the night, and he'll come out and with all kind of grace and humbleness, he'll say, don't worry about it, we'll get it done. He's a great guy. Congratulations on the appointment. Well deserved.
Thank you, Alderman Burnett. The chair recognizes Alderman Hairston.
Thank you, Madam President. I too rise in support of this appointment. You know, people really don't realize how important a job animal care and control is until they have an issue with an animal or they cite an animal. From the land of possum and coyotes and my raccoons and my fox and the geese and the deer. I thank you for all of your service. We've had some really tricky situations in the past, and you've always been there to help remedy them. So thank you and congratulations. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Alderman Harrison. The chair recognizes Alderman Curtis.
Thank you, Madam President. And I know you wasn't planning on hearing from all of us on this appointment. Don't sound like it anyway. So I want to thank my colleague, Alderman Bill, for bringing this forward because this appointment is very special and dear to all of us. Mamadou is the best guy for the job. Again, my sentiments is the same as Alderman Burnett. It was only Mamadou. You just called Mamadou, and whatever you needed was taken care of. He was a one go-to guy, and I appreciate everything he's done. Congratulations, Mamadou.
Curtis, the chair recognizes Alderman Scott.
Thank you, Madam President. I too rise in support of this appointment. I have stories just like everybody else. I was going to say the exact same thing that Walter said. I called the commissioner prior, and they said, call Mamadou. I had a really bad problem with coyotes at Douglas Park and at a senior building right outside of Douglas Park. And he himself came out and kind of checked out the area and made sure this problem was a solution. And we continue to deal with it, but every time I need him, he picks up the phone and he makes sure that whatever we need to move the situation forward, he does. And so I commend you on this appointment. Good luck, and you will be hearing, I see, from all of us very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Scott. The chair recognizes Alderman Rodriguez.
Appointment. As a matter of fact, while I was sitting here, my staff just clogged my text message and they said, hey, you got to stand up and really thank Mamadou. I will say my staff feels very upset. They felt like we were the only ward getting this level of service. But certainly across the city, you've done a great job. And by the way, I've heard about squirrels. I've heard about coyotes, heard about all these other animals. Let me add possums to that list. You took care of a couple at Vidham Park. And it was a very interesting situation. So I thank you for that work. And we want to continue to work with you in this endeavor, and we congratulate you. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you, Madam President.
The chair recognizes Alderman Dow.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to stand up and thank you, Mayor, for making this appointment. You know, sometimes people get buried in the bureaucracy and you do not see their talent and they get overlooked. And I just wanted to congratulate you for making this appointment. This is a great appointment. This is a great appointment. And best of luck to you.
The chair recognizes Alderman Raboyes.
President, I too stand in this support for Mamadou. You know, somebody a little while ago said squirrel, and I just kind of shook my head a little bit. You know, I ride bikes, so do some of my colleagues that are here. But we're not here to talk about squirrels. I will tell you that. No, we're not. But I will. Madam President, I will say, Mamadou, listen to this. I'm coming back from the Botanic Garden, which is a 32-mile ride. You know, it's how I warm up. Madam President, I knew that would shake him up a little bit. That's my warm-up in the morning on a bicycle. No squirrels in that route. No squirrels. And I'm confronted, true story, at about 9 p.m. on a late summer, you know, still a little daylight, 4 coyotes waiting for me about 30 yards away. And so I'm thinking, I remember what he told me, that you gotta scream and scream loud. When I got off my bike, I thought about it, laid the bike down. I looked around for squirrels before I did this. And I see the 4 coyotes and I scream loud. I was going nuts, moving, and so 2 other people behind me said, "Sir, are you okay?" No, I was told to scream, and they moved about 10 yards. That was it. I think they were hungry, but there were no squirrels there. But I appreciate what you told us about coyotes, and they know me now. They stay out of my way. I don't know the same story about squirrels, though. Thank you, Madam President.
Alderman Raboyes. The chair recognizes Alderman Garza.
Thank you, Madam President. I too rise in support of this appointment. Alderman Raboyes, you're forever going to be known as the Coyote Whisperer. Mamadou, excellent appointment, Madam President. You are the kindest, hardest working person that I have met in 6 years, and I applaud this. It's a wonderful appointment. Congrats. You deserve every single accolade that's been given today. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Alderman Garza. The chair recognizes Alderman Wagasback.
Madam President, I too wish to congratulate you on this appointment. Mamadou has been an excellent person to work with. My staff really love him as well, and I think all the staff of all the aldermen here who he deals with appreciate his straightforwardness on dealing with some difficult issues. Just one question. I don't remember if you were involved in the cougar mountain lion from South Dakota quite a few years ago, but that kind of ups the ante on really some of the difficult issues, that dangerous animals that are out there, but also your approach to, in a kind way, trying to deal with them, I think is very much appreciated by our constituents and, of course, all the staff and aldermen. So thank you and congratulations.
Alderman Wagasback. The chair recognizes Alderman Brooken.
Madam President, I rise in opposition of the aggressive squirrels and for this appointment. For all of my colleagues who are laughing and snickering and giggling, don't ask for new garbage cans when those aggressive squirrels have eaten through them. There's plenty on the internet of those aggressive squirrels attacking people. Do not call this gentleman asking to deal with those aggressive squirrels if you think it's funny. But in all sincerity, you have been a one-man band in helping our office, and we commend you for all that you do. And we do need a resolution with respect to our wildlife in general. That is one of the most numerous calls I believe that each of our offices get, especially those who affront the Dan Ryan Woods and other forest preserves out there. While it's good to see them, it is not good to see them in our backyard. So God bless you. We support you and all the work that you do. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Alderman Brookins. The chair recognizes Alderman Irvin.
Thank you, Madam President. I think we all have a story, Mr. Diake, and mine is where I had somebody break into a school and set up an animal shelter in a school. And to the rescue, along with the police department, comes Mamadou. And the irony of this is that this guy evidently was unknown to me, but very well known to animal control, because he had pulled something similar, I think, out in Ray's Ward. And it was just baffling. But the care and concern that he and his team have, I think you have to love what it is that you do. And I think that Mamadou shows his love and his work and his profession. And I think we all see that as a body. So congrats on your appointment. And we know that you're going to do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Irvin. I would just add briefly that, first of all, welcome to the cabinet. But you should all know that not only is he a caring, responsive person, he's actually a veterinarian by training and comes from a family of veterinarians. So he is well positioned to take on this responsibility and appreciate the confidence of the City Council in him. Thank you, Mamadou. Chairman Sawyer, is there any other business to report from the Health and Human Relations Committee?
No, Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Next up, the Committee on Housing and Real Estate, Chairman Osterman.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the City Council. Reporting for your Committee on Housing and Real Estate, which held a virtual meeting on May 18th, 2021. The committee has a series of reports recommending passage of the following. Item number 1 is an intergovernmental agreement with the Chicago Park District and Forest Preserve of Cook County to collectively appropriate funds and support neighbor space, open space projects. I move passage of this item by the first favorable roll call vote of the Committee on Finance and associated unsuccessful motion to reconsider, with the exception of a no vote by Alderman Maldonado and an abstention vote by Alderman Burnett.
The no vote and the abstention will be noted on the record. Hearing no further objection, so ordered.
Thank you. Item 2 is an intergovernmental agreement between the Chicago Board of Education and the Public Building Commission to acquire 9207 South Phillips Avenue to facilitate conditioned sale to Chicago youth centers for the development of an early childhood, after-school, summer, and community program center. I make the same motion if there's no objection.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
Item 3 is the sale of city-owned property at 1828 South St. Louis Avenue to Ruth Wilson. I make the same motion if there's no objection.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
The committee also had the fourth quarter report for 2020 that was presented at committee. Madam President, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Chairman Osterman. Next up, the Committee on License and Consumer Protection, Chairman Mitz.
Thank you, Madam President and members of the City Council. I'm reporting for the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. We held a virtual meeting on May 19, 2021. And the following items were passed by the committee. Item number 02012-1330. An ordinance to allow a one-time exception to the Chicago Cubs to hold a Major League Baseball game at Wrigley Field on June 18, 2021. Sponsored by Alderman Turney, 44th Ward. I move that the City Council concur in the recommendation of the License Committee and pass this item by the same roll call vote as item number 1 of the Committee on Finance report and the same unsuccessful motion to reconsider.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
Item number 2, 02020-4817, a substitute ordinance amending Title II and 4 of the Municipal Code regarding regulations and license fees for tow truck companies and operators. Alderman Villegas would like to be able to speak on this ordinance if there's no objection.
Chairman Villegas.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Today is the beginning of a safer and more accountable tomorrow. This is the first time that a regulation of this kind has been initiated by the city, and the importance of its implementation cannot be lost upon us. This license requires all towers to get a license when towing damaged or disabled vehicles within the city of Chicago. After countless stories of public safety concerns from many Chicagoans, we began working in close collaboration with Chairman Mitz, towing working group members, Illinois Commerce Commission, Chicago Police Department, and Business Affairs and Consumer Protection to combat the abusive practices from rogue towers at a local level. This has been a public safety nightmare. This license captures everyone affected by the towing industry throughout Chicago. It will create accountability for both the good and bad actors and life-changing protections for all communities. Whatever's currently in place is not working, and as elected officials, we are responsible for protecting our city. It is our job to listen, collaborate, and then act. This license is proof of what can happen when we come together and create laws that better our city. I look forward to continuing to address this alarming problem throughout the city alongside my colleagues, and I ask the members for this favorable consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Villegas. Chairman Mitz, is there a motion?
I move passage of this item by the same motion if there is no objection.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
We have one item lifting a moratorium in the 45th Ward. I move passage of this item by the same motion if there is no objection.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
That concludes my report for the License Committee. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Chairman Mitz. Next up, Committee on Pedestrian and Traffic Safety, Alderman Burnett.
Thank you, Madam President. Reporting for your Committee on Pedestrian and Traffic Safety, for which a meeting was held on Thursday, May 20th, 2021. Before the committee, there were 222 items. There were routine items that passed, 219, and 3 routine items that did not pass. There was a substitute ordinance introduced by 4th Ward Alderman Sophia King for the amendment of municipal chapter 9-68 by adding new section 9-68-032 to establish seasonal parking program on the west side of 4000 block of South Oakenwall Avenue from East 40th Street to East 41st Street that was passed. If there is no objections, I move for the passage of these ordinances in the omnibus. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. Next up, the Committee on Public Safety, Chairman Taliaferro.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the City Council. Reporting for your Committee on Public Safety, for which a meeting was held on May 21st, 2021. There was one item before the committee for which the committee recommended a due pass. It is re-referral of Resolution 2020-805, a call for hearings on expanding community-based domestic, sexual, and gender-based violence prevention programs to the Joint Committee on Health and Human Relations and Public Safety. If there are no objections, Madam President, I move for the passage of these items by the first favorable roll call vote of the Committee on Finance and the associated unsuccessful motion to reconsider.
Hearing no objections, so ordered.
Thank you, Madam President. That concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Next up, the Committee on Special Events, Cultural Affairs, and Recreation, Chairman Spizzato.
To the City Council, reporting for your Committee on Special Events, Cultural Affairs, and Recreation, or which I call the Happy Committee, for which a virtual meeting was held on May 13th, 2021. The committee recommends the passage of the following item. 2021-1649, a concession license agreement with Shift Transit LLC to operate McDonald's Cycle Center in Millennium Park as a city concessionaire. I move passage of this item by the first most favorable roll call vote of the Committee on Finance and associated unsuccessful motion to reconsider.
Hearing no objections, so ordered.
Thank you, Madam President. This concludes my report.
Next up, the Committee on Workforce Development, Chairman Sidlowski Garza.
Thank you, Madam President and members of the City Council. Reporting for your Committee on Workforce Development, which held a meeting on May 11th, 2021. There was one item on the agenda, R 2021-445, calling for hearings to publicize resources available in Chicago to help employers, workers, and labor and trade organizations with reopening of businesses. R 2021-445 was passed unanimously by majority voice vote. Hearing no objection, I move for the first most favorable vote on the Committee on Finance report and the corresponding unsuccessful motion to reconsider.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
The Committee on Workforce Development also held a meeting on May 13th, 2021. There was one item on the agenda, A 2021-52, appointment of Chris Owen as Commissioner of Human Resources. This appointment was passed unanimously by a majority voice vote. Hearing no objection, I move for the first most favorable vote on the Committee on Finance report and the corresponding unsuccessful motion to reconsider.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
This concludes the report on Committee on Workforce Development, Madam President. Thank you.
Welcome, Commissioner. Next up, the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. I'm sorry. Pardon me. The chair recognizes Nick Spizzato.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to commend your pick to this office. I'm glad to see Chris get the job. Chris has been here for a while, as we know, and this is an appointment that's a little long overdue, but it happened finally, Chris. So best wishes to you, and look forward to working with you. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Recognizes Alderman Moore.
Madam President, definitely, I think this is a very good appointment. Under the previous commissioner, anytime I came in that office, it was Chris that was really taking the helm a lot of time, but that whole department was very helpful. And I think this is a good pick, and I totally look forward to working with you as we work on the equity issues here in the city of Chicago. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Next up, the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Chairman Tunney.
Madam President and members of the City Council, presenting a series of reports for your Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards, which held a meeting on May 25th of 2021. These reports are grouped for convenience. The following items were passed by a majority of the members present. Pages 1 through 13 contain various map amendments in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 11th, 12th, 14th, 16th, 19th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 30th, 37th, 40th, 42nd, 47th, 49th, and 50th wards. I move passage of these items by the last most favorable roll call vote of the Finance Committee report and the associated unsuccessful motion to reconsider, noting that Alderman Rodriguez, Alderman Cicho Lopez, and Alderman Haddon voted no on document number 02019-2789 for the property commonly known as 2139 and 2159 West Pershing Road.
The chair recognizes Alderman Vasquez.
President, I'd like to be recorded as a no for that one.
The chair recognizes Alderman Martin.
Thank you, Madam President. I too would like to be recorded as a no.
Those two no votes are due.
Madam President, Alderman Rodriguez Sanchez here.
Recognizes Alderman Rodriguez.
I would like to be recorded as a no as well.
Raised.
So noted. The chair recognizes Alderman Leslie Harrison.
Yes, I too would like to be recorded as a no on this item.
There's a pending motion subject to those no votes and hearing. I'm sorry. The chair recognizes Alderman Lopez.
Thank you, Madam President. I too wish to be recorded as a no.
Chair recognizes Alderman Jeanette Taylor. Chair recognizes Alderman Sophia King.
No as well. I'd like to be recorded.
Roll call. Calling for a roll call.
Call for a roll call vote on this one.
Alderman LaSpada.
Is document number 020192789 for the property commonly known as 2139 and 2159 West Pershing Road. This is the adaptive reuse of the warehouse next to McKinley Park.
There's been a call for a roll call. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman LaSpada.
It's not here. Let's move on. The chair recognizes Alderman Raboyes.
What we're voting on, yes or no?
Chairman Tunney, can you clarify again?
Okay. So if you're voting yes, you're voting in the affirmative recommendation from the zoning committee for the zoning change appropriate to this property in Alderman Cardenas's ward that was debated at committee and received the favorable support except for the objectors that I mentioned in my report.
Alderman Sadlowski Garza.
Thank you. I would like to defer to my colleague Alderman Cardenas it's in his ward, so I'd like to hear from the alderman whose ward it's in, please.
Chair recognizes Alderman Cardenas.
Thank you, Madam President. I was hoping I get a chance to speak on this item. As I spoke eloquently, I thought at Plan Commission, if you didn't listen to Plan Commission, and if you were not in committee and zoning committee, I shall repeat. This is obviously in McKinley Park, right next to the park. I mean, the view would be of the park itself. This is a great reuse of property that's been abandoned for decades upon decades. This part of McKinley Park used to be in the 11th ward. It used to be a manufacturing district many, many moons ago. When I first got elected, it got rezoned out of the PMD, parts of it out of the PMD, but in the back of this area is still a planned manufacturing district. Anything that gets built there, if it's within the code, it's a right of zoning. Met Asphalt was built as a right of zoning, and if you're an alderman, and if you ever did any work related to that, you would understand that that's what happened there. This is within distance of really just commonsensical of building 700 or almost 700 feet between the distance of Met Asphalt and the planned manufacturing district and this property. There's not just this building, but there are many buildings that are adjacent to the planned manufacturing district. And to vote against it would mean that we negate affordable housing and other types of housing development for McKinley Park. This is very much a ward matter. And I know there's a lot of activism here, but the community has spoken. It supports it. Many organizations have spoken for it, written letters on it. Hispanic Housing, which is one of the preeminent advocates of housing that builds housing in this city, is doing the development. Many that are in your wards, north, south, east, west, and people that were in zoning committee spoke about it. I also spoke about Celotex, a 24-acre site, when I first got elected, was highly contaminated. Yet we set about to reuse that, to repurpose that site to a park. It is now a beautiful park named Little Village Park. In this park, 2 acres now, just recently, is being repurposed, 2 acres of that site, for a community garden. Tomatoes and vegetables are being grown there. 16 inches below is a contaminated soil that's been capped, safe for that use to exist. Just think about that. So you're saying that 700 or 800 or almost 700 feet away from it, nothing to do with obviously groceries or produce, people living in harmony next to a park, next to a community that has schools and transportation and all the amenities that you would want someone that looks for decent housing. On Archery Avenue, next to Chinatown, drive through it, there's a homeless encampment of people obviously in badly need of housing. There are many of those throughout the city. What are we talking about? What are we doing here? We claim and we scream that we need housing, affordable housing. That's what this does. It repurposes buildings that are strong with a very awesome foundation that were built many generations ago for the very same thing that we need in the city. And you as an alderman would understand that. So before you are prompted to read something that, in fact, sometimes has no facts at all, I would urge you to reconsider all the things that we've done, a year and a half of planning, a year and a half of review by the experts that are supposed to review such things. So let me just leave it at that, because I think we just ad nauseum debated this in Planning Commission and zoning as well. This is good for the city, good for McKinley Park. And I urge you to vote on something that you would push for your own community. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. The chair recognizes Alderman Sawyer.
Thank you, Madam President. I had the opportunity to listen to zoning the other day, and the last thing that I want to do is vote against a colleague regarding a project in his ward. But at this time, I would like to ask that this matter be deferred and published until such a time that we can get some additional environmental concerns answered. Because I think that was the gist of the objections that were raised yesterday. And I would hope that somebody might want to second that.
There's a I believe by Sixto Lopez. We only need 2. Thank you, Alderman Vasquez. Sir, we're going to have order here, okay? We're not going to call out. This item is deferred and published. The chair recognizes Alderman Ryan.
Madam President, as a point of order, I thought we had an open roll call before defer and publish was called. Therefore, you can't call for a defer and publish during a roll call, if I'm correct. Is that true, parliamentarian?
On conferring with the parliamentarian, Alderman Riley is correct. There was a pending roll call vote. I direct the clerk to call the roll. Alderman Garza asked to hear from the sponsoring alderman. So there's a pending roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Last question. Alderman
Is it
Sposato.
okay? Could I just speak on behalf of my colleague?
Yes, you can.
So I'm on the Plan Commission. And I'm embarrassed to say the beating that man took from the Plan Commission. Basically, what they said about this project They called him names without calling him names. I know he worked hard on this. The bottom line is, folks, if people don't want to live in a $2,000 apartment for $1,000 a month or whatever it is, you don't have to live there. This asphalt plant is, George, over 2 football fields away, something like that, 700 feet. I mean, the asphalt plant was there first. In the commission, they're saying, move it, put it someplace else. It doesn't work that way. This property has been vacant for, like you said, decades. People, this is his business, his ward. You should be supporting him. So this is his ward issue. I encourage everybody to support him. He worked hard to do this. This is a lot of affordable housing for people. And if people have a problem being 700 feet away from an asphalt plant, then they don't have to accept it. Thank you very much, Madam President, for letting me speak.
Alderman Sposato. The chair recognizes Alderman Sixto Lopez.
Thank you.
Briefly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I do think it's important to understand the facts here. None of us are opposing affordable housing. What we also don't want to do is be complicit when we see the type of pollution that is affecting people in our community. As a neighbor, I tell you that right now there's a pending permit of operation by the Illinois EPA. I think Alderman Sawyer is correct by us making sure that we have that information and we don't rush into decisions while there's a permit that is under review. We see the kind of liability, not only the fiscal liability, but also health risks involved with that. So I want to be very clear. We're not opposing affordable housing. What we don't want is to make sure that our residents have to choose between affordable housing and breathing clean air. This is unacceptable that in the city of Chicago, we allow people of color to be subject to this kind of pollution. This is extremely irresponsible. There are several reports that now are also pointing at the fact that we have schools, children, specifically in the Latino community, that are subject to tremendous pollution with permanent damage to their health. I urge you, to our colleagues, to be mindful of the facts. This is about facts. This is not about pitching anybody against each other. This is about the facts of environmental justice.
Alderman, the chair recognizes Alderman Haddon.
Thank you, Madam President. I spoke on this in zoning committee, and I wasn't planning to speak today beyond my no vote, but I will just ask my colleagues. I believe Alderman Sawyer raises a good point. There are lots of concerns and questions. Our own Department of Housing denied funding to this project because of environmental concerns. If you are a member of this body, you know that while I want more affordable housing, and I mentioned this yesterday, the project, if it were not within 600 feet of an asphalt plant, is a beautiful project. It's wonderful, and I commend my colleague, Alderman Cardenas, on his hard work on winning this project. And also, we need to make better decisions. Our decisions have an impact for decades. Our city and our predecessors have made decisions that have put low-income people in environmentally dangerous situations. We are currently under investigation for environmental racism, for past practices. It would be very unwise for you to support, without further environmental review, passing this project. It would have been wiser to hold it. I made it through committee, but I will appeal to my colleagues here. Do not repeat mistakes of the past. Please think a little bit further down the road. Do you want to make sure that one of the best affordable housing opportunities that could come to McKinley Park is within 600 feet of a heavy industry hazardous situation? I think it's a bad call. So thank you.
And the chair recognizes Alderman Vasquez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to correct the public record. Although you attempted to admonish me, it was my colleague, Alderman Rosa. I know we're both socialists and Latinx, but we're not the same person. Thank you.
I thought it was you because you were making gestures like you were talking. So
I'll let you know.
stand correct. The chair recognizes Alderman Hairston. And don't appreciate the snarky comments, sir. Particularly not as a woman of color. The chair recognizes Alderman Hairston.
Thank you, Madam President. You know, I keep hearing people talk about affordable housing. And yes, we want affordable housing, but we don't want it at the expense of poor people and Black and brown people, which in this city, we always seem to get our projects located on things that are environmentally hazardous. And if we don't change it now, if we don't do something different, we're still going to continue to have the same thing. You know, being within 600 feet, people say, well, that's not a big deal. Well, it is a big deal because to get a liquor license, you can't have one if you're in 1,000 feet of a school. But yet, for asphalt, they can be within 600 feet. I think that, you know, we should find out. I know that the Department of Public Health opposed this. I just think that right now, I cannot be a part of putting Black and brown people on environmentally hazardous land.
Alderman, the chair recognizes Alderman Burke.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, number one, with all due respect, I am totally in agreement with what the chair ruled on this matter. In all my years here, there's never been a roll call interrupted by a request that the matter be deferred and published. And if anybody wants to check the law, Rhodey v. Washington stands for that black letter principle in Illinois law that any member is entitled to a roll call. And once that roll call begins, that's it. If the members wanted to defer and publish the report or an item therein, they should have made the request at an earlier point. I stand with my colleague from the 12th Ward. As all of you know, the 14th Ward is immediately adjacent to the 12th Ward. I'm familiar with the parkland. McKinley Park is a jewel on the southwest side. I'd invite any of you to drive past there on a weekend to see the thousands of people who are gathering in that park, celebrating family events, having barbecues, yes, fishing in the lagoon. But the most compelling argument that was made at the Committee on Zoning, Alderman Tunney, I think you perhaps agreed, is that the alderman of the ward, when speaking in favor of this matter, said he lives right down the street. And he can look out from his balcony at this site and at the park. And that there's a grammar school and a high school of 1,000 kids learning and becoming good citizens immediately adjacent to this site. Do you think that their parents are going to send them to a contaminated area? And Madam President, do you think that the alderman of the ward is going to live in a contaminated area and raise his infant child in an area that's not healthy? That's preposterous. I join with my neighbor and colleague, Alderman Cardenas, in urging everyone to vote yes on this matter. Thank you, Madam President.
Chair recognizes Alderman Burke, or Alderman Burnett.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm a lot poorer than Alderman Burke, but I testified both at the Plan Commission and also at the Zoning Committee. And, I know it's very popular to stand up for racial, environmental discrimination or discrimination, period, right? But I would be disingenuous if I was to say that, because I have a very old, long-standing asphalt plant in my ward. It used to be owned by Palumbo. Now it's owned by Begain. Matter of fact, I had to negotiate with Palumbo to allow for $1 million homes to be built next to it. And at that time, no one, what about the rich people, right? Or the white people that move next to these? We don't stand up for them too. Nobody said anything about them. And I got to tell you, this is probably one of them. I've done several zoning changes in that area over on Fry and Ogden, but folks to move over there, nobody never said anything. And it's been there for a long time. I have Begain there, and I also have Prairie. I got concrete and asphalt. and people living right next to it. And I have other projects that's coming down the line, and and these people are very educated, very smart. I know they're not going to move next to anything that they think is going to be detrimental to their lives. And they've been there as long as I've been alderman. I think we rezoned that property maybe 23 years ago. Folks are still there. They resold their houses. They done made money off their houses. Folks keep buying them, keep moving over there. I mean, it's actually right down the street from a church, from a Catholic church, and is St. John Cantius, where they have a school of priests. A school of priests live there, and everybody lives in harmony. It hasn't been harmful for anyone. I think in 20 years, we probably would have found out if it was going to be over 20 years. We probably would have found out if it was harmful to folks. And I think when that was built, technology has been upgraded in these asphalt plants so much more since then. Whatever's been built since that time is probably even more so environmentally, considerate with these asphalt plants. So I would be disingenuous for me to stand up and vote against this project, which is this place that I'm talking about in my ward. The townhomes that's in my ward is less than a block away from the asphalt plant. So I would be disingenuous to not vote for this when it's so much further away from an asphalt plant. I would be disingenuous to not vote for this because I have white constituents that live there. And I would be disingenuous if I stood up and say this was discrimination when I allow it to happen so many times for my rich and white and educated constituents in my ward. I know, standing up and saying environmentally discrimination and all these things are very popular. Those words are very popular, but I mean, come on now. If you're going to do things, you got to be across the board. It can't just, this is, the alderman lived down the street from it. There's already people there. Folks play in that park every day. Maybe they should close the park up now. Don't let nobody play in the park. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how far are we gonna go with this stuff? They gonna close the schools up? They gonna do everything else? This is 100 and something affordable housing. As much as we need affordable housing in our city from a great organization, Hispanic housing is like a strong Latino organization. A lot of votes, guys. A strong Latino organization. Thousands of houses all over the city, all over the state. And they don't just have Boricua. They have Afrikaners, they have white folks. There's a lot of poor people that live in their facilities. And I'm gonna tell you, Paul Rodin fights for people. I cannot see him putting people in danger when he fights so hard to make sure that they have a decent and affordable place to stay. Matter of fact, he fought with me in order to get our ARO in the city of Chicago. The commissioner said something, these other folks said something. That don't mean that they right. I know everybody want to, do this good Philly stuff, man, but I gotta support my colleague. I gotta support more affordable housing being built. I guarantee you if he said anybody want to move here, he'll probably have 10 times as many people trying to get in that building right now than if he didn't do it, because people need affordable places to stay. I support my colleague. I support this project, Madam Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Burnett. The chair recognizes Alderwoman Rodriguez Sanchez.
Thank you, Madam President. I am really concerned that it doesn't seem that we have all the information that we need in order to make a decision today. We have already said that we're going to do a roll call. I think that this issue requires for us to be able to have a little bit more discussion. I'm really concerned about approving something that can be environmentally hazardous to communities. I am concerned that low-income people would be forced to live in a risky environment. So I would really like us to consider not taking a vote on this today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Alderman Maldonado.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, we are all concerned about environmental issues. But the fact of the matter, the site that we're talking about in the 12th ward is not contaminated. It's clean. What else do you want to know? What else do your opponents need to know about that site? We find ourselves being exposed to contamination all year round, anywhere we go. For that matter, we're not going to build affordable housing that we need so badly in this city. We have a shortage of 197,000 affordable housing units in this city. How can we not support whatever number of units will be built in the 12th ward affordable housing unit? And this is not for low-income people, like some of my colleagues referred to. This is for working families that most likely the father and the mother goes out to work in the morning, 16 hours or 20 hours, come back to a decent apartment for them and their children next to a beautiful park. I don't understand what else do we need to know, and what other answers do we need to get a yes vote for this project. I urge all of you to vote for this project. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Alderman Ramirez Rosa.
Has a system of aldermanic prerogative where we turn to our local colleagues and say, you tell us what you think is best for your ward. Generally, I would say I want to support my colleague on this zoning change, right? He has determined that this is the best land use and zoning policy for that parcel in his community. But we also know that there's Neighbors for Environmental Justice, an organization that was formed specifically to oppose the environmental racism that has existed on the Southwest Side for entirely too long, and to speak out against the Matt asphalt plant being right next to a park, right next to a school, right next to people's homes. My colleague, Alderman Burke, is correct that there's a park there, there's a school there, there's homes there. But what he's wrong about is that they're not happy about the asphalt plant. The asphalt plant was not opened long ago. It's relatively recent. And now we have to be asked as a city, given the limited dollars that we have for affordable housing, is it appropriate to put poor people, working class people, primarily Black and brown people, right next to an asphalt plant? Would you move your family there if given the choice? See, poor people, working class people, they often don't have a choice as to where they get to live in this city. And that choice is shrinking day after day after day. As affordable 2 and 4 flats are torn down in communities, as our city cannot keep up with the need and demand for housing. And that's why we've seen so many Black people pushed out. That's why we've seen so many working class immigrant and Latinx people pushed out. So we have to be very intentional and very serious about how we promote affordable housing in this city. And it is a travesty that in this moment, we're considering putting 120 affordable apartments, some of which are 30% and 50% of the AMI, which are very difficult to get, that we're going to say, you know what? Guess where you get to go? You get to go right next to an asphalt plant. Don't you love it? Aren't you so happy? Here's your affordable option in the city of Chicago. Breathe in the fumes. That is a travesty. We, in this council, that is majority Black and majority Latino, we in this council, with people who grew up in poverty, with people who have family members that are still in poverty, we should expect more for ourselves and for our community. So I want to support my colleague. But in this instance, I'm sorry, I've got to say no. Because those poor people that need those credits,
that need that affordable housing, they deserve to be in a better place than right next to an asphalt plant. Thank you.
Thank you. Final word, and then we'll do the roll call. Chairman Tunney.
Thank you, Madam President. And obviously, we had a robust debate at committee. A couple of points that I don't think were brought up and to clarify some of the statements. Number one, Plan Commission. Plan Commission is made up of peers of ours, aldermen. They're made up of city officials and departments. You don't get in front of the Plan Commission without the support of the Department of Planning, which does a thorough review of all the different disciplines, as you well know, because you've all had plan developments, hopefully, in your ward. So it doesn't get to Plan Commission. While it was a heated debate, it passed successfully. We had debate in committee. It passed successfully. The other thing that I wanted to mention, that while Alderman Cardenas lives 4 blocks, we have done an adaptive reuse on a similar building adjacent to this. It's called McKinley Park Lofts, that is full. And I don't believe that it might have some affordability in it, but literally we've done the same thing and it's next door. Okay, so that might be 750 feet away from the plant. And by the way, that plant, however way it was, that was a previous city council that approved that. You don't get that kind of plant without the support of the city, whether in retrospect, it might not have been there. We as a council must have done something to put that there. So as we said, and the other thing that it really was kind of, to me, is a little disingenuous. I think I would live in that facility. So I don't think it's all about black and brown people that are going to this facility. This is about everybody, whether it's working class people that are black, white, or Hispanic. This is one city, and this project, it looks handsome as it is, as adaptive reuse on a vacant piece of property. And it's going to be for everybody. And especially those that that can't afford it. But I would be happy to live there, and I grew up near a park, and I would love, not as big as McKinley Park, but so I asked to continue the roll call. I know this is inappropriate because we already started the roll call, but we need to get this decided one way or another. So let's go.
Alderman LaSpada. Alderman LaSpada.
Go.
Alderman Hopkins.
I vote aye.
Alderman Hopkins is an aye. Alderman Dow.
Aye.
Alderman Dow is an aye. Alderman King. Alderman King. Can you hear me on this mic? Okay. Alderman Harrison.
No.
Alderman Harrison is a no. Alderman Sawyer.
No.
Alderman Sawyer is a no. Alderman Mitchell.
Aye.
Alderman Mitchell is an aye. Alderman Harris.
Aye.
Alderman Harris is an aye. Alderman Beal.
Yep.
Alderman Beal is an aye. Alderman Zalowski Garza.
Aye.
Alderman Zalowski Garza is an aye. Alderman Thompson.
Aye.
Alderman Thompson is an aye. Alderman Cardenas.
Aye.
Sorry, Alderman King is a no. I'm sorry, miss.
Alderman Cardenas is an aye. Alderman King is a no. Alderman Quinn.
Aye.
Alderman Quinn is an aye. Alderman Burke.
Aye.
Alderman Burke is an aye. Alderman Lopez.
No.
Alderman Lopez is a no. Alderman Coleman.
No.
Alderman Coleman is a no. Alderman Moore.
Aye.
Alderman Moore is an aye. Alderman Curtis.
Aye.
Alderman Curtis is an aye. Alderman O'Shea.
Aye.
Alderman O'Shea is an aye. Alderman Taylor.
No.
Alderman Taylor is a no. Alderman Brookins.
Aye.
Alderman Brookins is an aye. Alderman Rodriguez.
No.
Alderman Rodriguez is a no. Alderman Tabarrus. Alderman Tabarrus is an aye. Alderman Scott.
Aye.
Alderman Scott is an aye. Alderman Cicho Lopez.
No.
Alderman Cicho Lopez is a no. Alderman Maldonado.
Aye.
Alderman Maldonado is an aye. Alderman Burnett.
Aye.
Alderman Burnett is an aye. Alderman Irvin.
Aye.
Alderman Irvin is an aye. Alderman Talaferro.
Aye.
Alderman Talaferro is an aye. Alderman Raboyes.
Aye.
Alderman Raboyes is an aye. Alderman Cardona.
Aye.
Alderman Cardona is an aye. Alderman Wagaspack.
Aye.
Alderman Wagaspack is an aye. Alderman Rodriguez Sanchez.
No.
Alderman Rodriguez Sanchez is a no. Alderman Austin.
Aye.
Alderman Austin is an aye. Alderman Ramirez Rosa.
No.
Alderman Ramirez Rosa is a no. Alderman Villegas.
Aye.
Alderman Villegas is an aye. Alderman Mitts.
Aye.
Alderman Mitts is an aye. Alderman Sposado.
Aye.
Alderman Sposado is an aye. Alderman Nugent.
Aye.
Alderman Nugent is an aye. Alderman Vasquez. Alderman Vasquez is a no. Alderman Napolitano.
Aye.
Alderman Napolitano is an aye. Alderman Riley.
Aye.
Alderman Riley is an aye. Alderman Smith.
Aye.
Alderman Smith is an aye. Alderman Tunney.
Aye.
Alderman Tunney is an aye. Alderman Gardner.
Aye.
Alderman Gardner is an aye. Alderman Kappelman. Alderman Kappelman is an aye. Alderman Martin. Alderman Martin is a no. Alderman Osterman. Alderman Osterman is an aye. Alderman Haddon.
No.
Alderman Haddon is a no. Alderman Silverstein. Aye. Alderman Silverstein is an aye.
The yeas are 36, the nays are 16. The motion passes. Alderman Thompson on the motion for reconsideration.
Madam President, I move to reconsider
Did you
that
say-
last vote.
sorry,
All
36
those
to
in
16?
favor of the motion for reconsideration signify by saying aye. All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
The nays have it. The chair recognizes, all right, there's a clarification on the count. It's 36 yeas, 13 nays. Just for clarification, let's do the motion for reconsideration again.
Madam President, I move that we reconsider the vote that we just.
All those in favor of the motion for reconsideration signify by saying aye. All those opposed say nay.
No.
The
No.
nays have it. The motion for reconsideration is denied. Chairman Tunney.
Continuing on, page 13 contains the historical landmark designation of the Pentecostal Church of Holiness located at 4208 West 15th Street in the 24th Ward. I move passage of this item by the same motion if there is no objection. Page 14 contains various large signs over 100 square feet in area, 24 feet above grade in the 3rd, 11th, and 14th wards. I move passage of these items by the same motion if there is no objection.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
Madam President, that concludes my first report. And now we will start, Madam President and members of the City Council, presenting a report for your Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards, which held a meeting on February 23rd, 2021. The following item was passed by majority of the members present. Page 1 contains a zoning map amendment document number 02021-445 for the address commonly known as 4758 through 4760 North Milwaukee Avenue. I move passage by this item by a roll call vote.
So,
Roll call.
roll call, Madam.
This is the item in the 45th Ward, medical recreational dispensary, and I call for a roll call.
I guess we got a point of order here, because if we're not, are we gonna have debate or are we just moving into a roll call?
Well, he asked for a roll call. I think we've got to proceed with the roll call.
Well, here's the question then. If this is going to be the way we conduct business, then we will not have the opportunity for debate. And I think that as a body, that we should have consideration for debate on matters of concern that come before us. I'll ask the chairman to withdraw his motion until debate is concluded on the matter.
Alderman Irving, let me just please explain. Let me just please explain. So procedurally, a member calls for a roll call. I then, as the chair, ask the clerk to read the roll. When I ask for the clerk to read the roll, that's the end. The roll call should go forward. If you want to debate, the time between, and I typically scan the room to look, is the time to say something. But for clarification, the alderman has asked for a roll call vote. We will allow discussion and debate, but going forward, once I ask the clerk to call the roll, then we're done. We're doing the roll, all right? Chair recognizes Alderman.
Respectfully disagree with that. We'll move forward. We are let me just say this. Just because you can doesn't make it right. Remember that just because you can does not make it right. We sit on the precipice of communities that we talk about that are marginalized. I live on the west side of Chicago, and things have not been the best for residents on the west side of Chicago for a number of years. While we have made improvements, we're not where it is that we would like to be. The same thing that can be said for residents on the west side can be said for residents on the east side, some on the north side, and some even on the south side. I say this to say that just because we can, and we talk about this prerogative, and let's kind of delve into that, because it seems like just me and my thinking that when it comes down to Black folks, automatic prerogative, it tossed out the window. Because I can recall this very body here when the alderman in the second ward wanted to put an honorary street sign up for a slain civil rights leader in their ward. Oh, we can't do that. Why? Because it goes beyond automatic prerogative. When Alderman Mitts in the 37th ward tried to bring jobs to her community, we had to sit here and fight for almost a year to bring jobs, which was a war matter, but no, that's not automatic prerogative. And again, but then let's take the inverse of that. When white folks wanted to bring something downtown and they said no, and they stood with the alderman, it's different. So there are issues in our communities and issues in the city that transcend prerogative, but it seemed like Black and brown folks end up on the short end of the stick. Now, we talk about this cannabis, and we talked about this long and hard. I know that the alderman in the 45th ward has been lobbying, saying, hey, this is my ward, this is my thing, but at what cost? At what cost? Is the cost of dividing this body continuously greater than trying to work to solve the good of the problem? Here we are sitting in Springfield, and we've been talking to our representatives in Springfield. House passed a bill that would increase cannabis across our city and across the state to bring in what we fought for. But yet, today, we got to solve this right now. Why? So other folks can get rich continuously without a hope or prayer for that to happen. Yeah, we should have solved this problem years ago, but we didn't. But here we are today with an opportunity to just say, hey, because I do want to support, believe it or not, I want to support my colleague. But I can't be asked to support my colleague at the expense of the people that we all represent. And so I would just ask today, and I'm going to ask my colleague from the 45th ward, is that he would just take one step. If we're sitting in the Illinois House, which has passed a bill, and the Illinois Senate is going to take up a bill, because I would like to vote in support of the matter that is proposed, to respect the wishes of the alderman, but also do something that's positive for all of us. But again, the question is, can you wait for equity? Can we wait so that everybody can participate? And again, I'm disappointed that we have come to this, but again, I understand the process, I understand all of that, of how we got here. But I would just ask the alderman of the 45th ward to hold this matter, because if it passes the Senate and is signed by the governor, we all can walk down the street together on this issue. And that would be the ask that I have today. I don't want to belabor the point. We don't have to defer and publish, even though we could. That's not the point here. The point is that the alderman of the ward and the alderman and all of us need to begin to recognize the nail holes that we create with these actions. We can pull these nails out, but yet and still those holes will be there. And we as a body, we don't need to become DC. We don't need to become other polarized bodies. This body has worked in a method where we all try to work things out, not necessarily have to force things down people's throat that don't want them, or just to do it because we can, because there is a solution here. And there would be a difference if we did not see a light of creating a solution and wanting to move forward in a manner in which we have to force something to happen. But that's not the case here. This vote today is a matter of greed, period, paragraph. And if the alderman of the 45th Ward wants to continue to move forward in this manner, I think it's wrong. It's his prerogative to do so, and I can understand if you support it. But again, this is a slap in the face to a lot of people, especially when we see that this matter can easily be dealt with in the next couple of days. So I would ask you all, I would ask him to not do that and not force us all to have to take such a position on this matter today. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. The chair recognizes Alderman Beal.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, amazing to me how just a little less than 2 years ago, we had a cannabis debate in this council. And I told everybody in this council then, there was nothing in this bill for people of color. And I stand on that today. But yet, we passed it. Well, you all passed it. Because I didn't vote for it. Because I knew that we were being hoodwinked then, like we're being hoodwinked now. I told you all there was nothing in it for our community. And how many licenses later? And there's not one license with a person of color. Not one. So now that somebody has an expansion of a license, now we want to take a stand. We want to take a stance now. Now ain't the time to take a stance. Time to take a stance was when the bill first came to us and we should have opted out until they fixed it. If we had done that, then Springfield would have hurried up and fixed it. Not give all those licensees a 2-year running start on the market. Now we want to fix it. They've already saturated the market. But now we want to come back and clean it up at the expense of an expansion in somebody's ward that he's just trying to expand, not new license, he's just trying to expand. So we cannot go back in time and try to clean up our mistake then at the expense of an expansion. Now, I'm submitting an ordinance today that's going to stop all cannabis licenses in the city of Chicago until Springfield fixes it. Let's see if we're going to take a stance on that. Let's see if everybody want to jump on that. We got to take a stance in the beginning. We gave them a 2-year head start. The horse is already out the barn. I said it then and I say it now. However, we still wait on Springfield to fix it. But let's see what happens with my ordinance that's coming before us today. And let's see if we want to take a stance on that instead of waiting for Springfield to fix our problem. Springfield may not fix it. They may put another bill in to hoodwink us all over again. But we can take a stance as a city council to say no more cannabis license until we see fit. But to take a stance on a man that's trying to expand something in his ward is wrong. So, Madam President, I support this ordinance, and I also support the ordinance that I'm putting before us today to see if we can right the wrongs that we have done here in this city and in this state. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Alderman Sposato.
Thank you, Madam President. Just want to remind everybody, this is an expansion of an existing license, okay? We've taken a beating in 2022 with lost tax revenue. I'm not saying this hot shop is going to make up for all the revenue we lost, but if we can just keep chipping away, getting more tax revenue, that's what we need for the city. Once again, an existing business, an expansion to create more jobs, more tax revenue. Thank you, Madam President.
The chair recognizes Alderman Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Forward ever, backwards never. I voted not to pass that ordinance 2 years ago because I knew that we were going to get played in our community. And so Alderman Beal, I stand with you on that ordinance. As a matter of fact, I'll co-sponsor it with you. But at the end of the day, nothing in this city should move until the people who are actually locked up and mistreated and died around marijuana are taken care of. Nothing should move. Alderman Gardner, this is no disrespect to you, but that's the problem in this city council. We'll always say it's okay to move it, but we will. No, until we all get it, nobody gets it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Alderman Taylor. The chair recognizes Alderman King.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to stand with my colleagues. We did have the opportunity to have some semblance of equity for cannabis right here in this city. We had the opportunity to set the standard of how cannabis would be treated going forward. The bill somewhat addressed social equity at the state, but still enslaved us really in terms of economic equity. And the irony, of it all, that all of the mainly Black people, but brown people who have been locked up. And so got to get out of jail free card, but don't collect any money. Don't pass go, don't collect 200, because that's only relegated to white people in the community. And that's just wrong. It was wrong when we had all the lobbyists, including our leaders here, who lobbied against holding cannabis and waiting for equity. All we asked is to wait, wait until we got this thing right. Because all the money is here in the city of Chicago, as we've seen, all the billions, half a billions of dollars that have been made off of cannabis. That smacks in the face of all of the folks who were locked up and all of the inequity before that. And I agree. I'll stand with you too, Alderman Bill, on that. But I also feel that we have to do what's right. We can't keep passing the buck and saying, this is aldermanic prerogative, even though it's inequitable, let's just keep going. We've got to take a stance. This is really, really important. And we really, truly had a stand. We truly had a chance on a new industry that harmed a lot of folks. But now it's okay that people who don't look like me make all of the money, and we condone that. So we need to stop and really think about this particular thing. And I agree with Chairman Irvin that, this is not about Alderman Gardner. We all would like to support him. We understand that. But if you could please just hold this because there's a larger issue here. So thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Alderman King. The chair recognizes Alderman Gardner. Can we turn on his microphone, please?
Madam President, thank you. I feel obligated to speak on this because my name was mentioned a few times, obviously, because I'm the alderman of this ward. As my colleagues, Alderman Beal and Alderman Spazzato mentioned, this is an existing marijuana dispensary that wants to expand. A business that's going to bring some life to a depressed corridor in Jefferson Park. A business that's going to bring nearly $200,000 to tax revenue to this city. That's nearly $2.4 million annually. I should start by saying I understand what my colleague Alderman Irvin is fighting for. I understand it. I agree with him. There needs to be more equity in this industry. I do not argue that. Nor do I argue the fact that they're going to bring nearly, once again, $2.4 million tax revenue to a city whose caucus, the majority of which voted to raise property taxes just last November. And probably we're going to have another vote this November to raise property taxes once again. A city of residents who pay those taxes, white, brown, and Black. So my colleague, Alderman Irvin asked, at what cost? That's a great question. At what cost? And to who? We have a business that's willing and able to pay those taxes happily, instead of waiting and relying on residents' backs to say, hey, it's up to you now to make up for the years of reckless spending the city has made. So I ask you today, can you please vote in favor of a business, an existing business that wants to expand in my ward? And it's good for not only my ward, it's good for the entire city, people throughout the entire city. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Alderman Tunney.
Thank you, Madam President. Not only do I renew my motion for roll call, but just, I want to mention for the record, we have been working with Alderman Irvin and many other members. This is a February thing that we put off for 3 months. Not like we haven't been discussing, and we've had very robust discussions from the beginning of the cannabis ordinance about the inequities that were under the control, more so with the state legislature than it was with us. And many of you know, if we wait for the state legislature to get things done, we will be paralyzed as a city. So within the context of what we're saying, this has been hotly debated. You know, I don't want to ever be criticized of not giving everyone an opportunity to speak on this, but I think a lot has been said, and I think we should just get the vote and see where it goes.
Alderman La Spada.
Nay.
I had a point of clarification. My hand was up.
Alderman La Spada.
Nay.
No. Alderman Hopkins.
Aye.
Alderman Hopkins is an aye. Alderman Dow.
Aye.
Alderman Dow is an aye. Alderman King.
I had a point of clarification. I don't know if people saw my hand up, but okay, I'm a no.
You're in the middle of a roll call, so you're out of order. Please proceed.
I had my hand up before the roll call.
Alderman King. All right. Alderman Harrison.
An emphatic no.
Alderman Sawyer.
No.
Alderman Mitchell.
No.
Alderman Harris. Yes. Sorry, Alderman Harrison is a no. Alderman Sawyer is a no. Alderman Mitchell is a no. Alderman Harris is a yes. I was going back so that people could hear me. So I just wanted to
Alderman
clarify.
King is a no as well.
Alderman King is a no. Okay. Alderman Harris is a yes. Alderman Beal.
Yes.
Alderman Beal is a yes. Alderman Zalewski Garza. Alderman Zalewski Garza is an aye. Alderman Thompson.
Yes.
Alderman Thompson is an aye. Alderman Cardenas.
Aye.
Alderman Cardenas is an aye. Alderman Quinn.
Aye.
Alderman Quinn is an aye. Alderman Burke.
Aye.
Alderman Burke is an aye. Alderman Lopez.
Aye.
Alderman Lopez is an aye. Alderman Coleman.
No.
Alderman Coleman is a no. Alderman Moore.
No.
Alderman Moore is a no. Alderman Curtis.
Aye.
Alderman Curtis is an aye. Alderman O'Shea.
Aye.
Alderman O'Shea is an aye. Alderman Taylor.
No.
Alderman Taylor is a no. Alderman Brookins.
Aye.
Alderman Brookins is an aye. Alderman Rodriguez.
Aye.
Alderman Rodriguez is an aye. Alderman Tabarez. Alderman Tabarez is an aye. Alderman Scott.
No.
Alderman Scott is a no. Alderman Cicho Lopez.
No.
Alderman Cicho Lopez is a no. Alderman Maldonado.
Aye.
Alderman Maldonado is an aye. Alderman Burnett.
Aye.
Alderman Burnett is an aye. Alderman Irvin.
What you think?
Alderman Irvin.
No.
I need you for the
No.
record. No, for the record. Alderman Talaferro. Alderman Irvin is a no. Alderman Talaferro is a no. Alderman Raboyes.
Aye.
Raboyes is an aye. Alderman Cardona.
Aye.
Alderman Cardona is an aye. Alderman Wagaspack.
Aye.
Alderman Wagaspack is an aye. Alderman Rodriguez Sanchez.
No.
Alderman Rodriguez Sanchez is a no. Alderman Austin.
No.
Alderman Austin is a no. Alderman Ramirez Rosa.
No.
Alderman Ramirez Rosa is a no. Alderman Villegas. Alderman Villegas is an aye. Alderman Mitt.
No.
Alderman Mitts is a no. Alderman Sposato.
Nick Sposato enthusiastically supports his esteemed colleague from the
Alderman
45th Ward.
Sposato is an aye. Alderman Nugent. Aye. Alderman Nugent is an aye. Alderman Vasquez.
No.
Alderman Vasquez is a no. Alderman Napolitano.
Aye.
Alderman Napolitano is an aye. Alderman Riley.
Aye.
Alderman Riley is an aye. Alderman Smith.
Aye.
Alderman Smith is an aye. Alderman Tunney.
Aye.
Alderman Tunney is an aye. Alderman Gardner.
Aye.
Alderman Gardner is an aye. Alderman Kappelman.
Aye.
Alderman Kappelman is an aye. Alderman Martin. Alderman Martin is a no. Alderman Osterman.
Aye.
Alderman Osterman is an aye. Alderman Haddon.
No.
Alderman Haddon is a no. Alderman Silverstein. Aye. Alderman Silverstein is an aye.
Ayes at 31, the nays 19. The motion passes. Alderman Thompson on the motion for reconsideration.
Madam President, I move that we reconsider that last vote.
All those in favor of the motion for reconsideration signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The nays have it. The motion for reconsideration is defeated. Chairman Tunney.
Madam President, that concludes my report from the Not-So-Fun Committee of Zoning. Landmarks, Building Protection.
Thank you, Chairman Tunney. All right. Next, the Committee on Transportation and Public Way, Chairman Brookins.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Reporting on your Committee on Transportation and Public Way, a meeting which was held on April 29th and May 17th. The following ordinances were passed by a majority of the members present. On page 2 include three mayoral ordinances. On pages 3 through 16 include 165 grants of privileges introduced by the local aldermen from wards 1, 3, 4, 11, 12, 14, 21, 24, 25, 27 through 29, 31 through 33, 36, 38 through 40, 42 through 45, 47, 48, and 50. On page 17 include 13 ordinances for canopies introduced by the local aldermen from wards 4, 17, 27, 29, 33, 40, 42, 44, and 48. On pages 18 and 19 include 1 amendment and 17 ordinances for miscellaneous items introduced by the local aldermen from wards 1 through 4, 21, 27 through 29, 38, 42, 47, and 48. Your Honor, at this point, I would like to say that Alderman Thompson abstained and abstains from voting and did at the committee based on Rule 14 because a member of his firm or himself represented people from on page 3, item 02021, 1595, and 1596, the Metropolitan Pier and Exposition Authority, and also on page 7, Wintrust Bank, item 02021, 1586, and 1588. Except for those abstentions based on Rule 14 for Alderman Thompson. If there are no objections, I move passage of these items by the last most favorable roll call vote on the Committee in Finance and the associated unsuccessful motion to reconsider.
Hearing no objections, so ordered.
Your Honor, lastly, we have on page 20 one transportation ordinance for the street renaming of Lakeshore Drive as Jean Baptiste Point du Sable Drive. Your Honor,
President, I call for a roll call on this ordinance.
Your Honor, there are members who wanted to speak on this matter.
I saw the hand of Alderman Hopkins raised. Alderman Hopkins.
I had my hand up before. I called for a roll call first.
Alderman Hopkins has had his hand up.
Oh, come on, President.
Thank you, Madam President.
Be
If
so
I am
transparent.
recognized.
Alderman King, you are out of order, please.
I'm not out of order. I had my hand up before. I see the play here. I called for a roll call just like we did before. This is just inequity playing out right here in front of us. We honored a
Alderman
roll
Hopkins, please proceed.
Madam President, if I am so recognized, I would join my colleague from Ward 30 in submitting a request to defer and publish the ordinance 7918 as amended and contained in the report from the Committee on Transportation.
The matter will be deferred and published.
Wow.
Chairman Brookins.
I got my hand up.
Pardon me? Are you your hand raised on the item that's been deferred and published? There's nothing to speak on since it's been deferred and published. Chairman Brookins.
Can we get a legal opinion on
Alderman
this?
Moore,
The roll call was
you're out of
called
order, sir.
first.
The roll call was called first. Can we get a legal opinion here?
Your Honor,
Chairman.
that concludes my report.
Alderman Moore,
Can we get a
you're
legal
out of
opinion?
order, sir. You are out of order, sir. Thank you, sir.
Can we get a
Chairman
legal
Brookins.
opinion
That
here,
concludes my report, Your Honor.
President?
Thank you.
Can we
Next
get a
up,
legal
next up
opinion?
on the agenda is the agreed calendar. Chairman Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. I received from City Clerk Anna Valencia a total of 154 items for the proposed for the agreed calendar, consisting of congratulatory, commemorative, and tributary resolutions from City Clerk Anna Valencia and the following aldermen. But before I call all the aldermen, I'd like to ask to suspend the rules to allow the clerk to address her item, which is a recognition of the 2021 Next Gen City Council participants. She will not be reading the ordinance.
No.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Madam
much.
President.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak on the floor. I will be very brief. I just, for the first time ever, our Next Gen City Council, our high school students completed this last month. We had it on virtual. So thank you to the aldermen who have helped us in the Next Gen City Council the last 3 years. The first time that the students are actually introducing their own ordinance and resolution. So I just want to highlight the high schools that were part of the program: Amundsen High School, Benito Juarez Community Academy, Harlan Community Academy, Lakeview High School, and Michelle Clark High School, as well as George Washington High School. They're watching now, so I just want to uplift the students for participating and creating their resolution that is providing or an ordinance addressing housing support to Chicagoans due to the harmful effects on communities caused by COVID-19 by Harlan and Lakeview students. I also want to thank the mayor, Alderman Garza, Alderman Cicho Lopez, Vasquez, and Martin for co-sponsoring on the ordinance. And I want to thank Dr. Janice Jackson and Chicago Public Schools for putting this program together for the last 3 years and making it happen even during COVID. So I'm just really proud of our students for being civically engaged as they watch today to see that their words matter, that they're watching us, that they're engaged, crafting their own policies and empowered to do so. So we will be introducing it on behalf of those students today. Thank you.
Alderman Vasquez, you wish to speak on the resolution? Please proceed, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to stand in support of the resolution and to really shout out all the younger generations that are watching us, and wanted to thank the clerk for inviting us to be a part of the program. To all of those kids out there watching, we're terribly sorry and look forward to you bringing us a better council. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Chairman Harris.
Okay. Hi. Thank you, Madam President. And so the following aldermen have resolutions: Alderman Laspada, Alderman Sawyer, Alderman Harris, Alderman Thompson, Alderman Quinn, Alderman Burke, Alderman Lopez, Alderman Coleman, Alderman Brookins, Alderman Rodriguez, Alderman Tabarez, Alderman Raboris, Alderman Austin, Alderman Villegas, Alderman Nugent, Alderman Vasquez, Alderman Napolitano, Alderman Smith, Alderman Kappelman. And so I move passage of the agreed calendar in the omnibus. Thank you, Madam President.
Hearing no objections, so ordered. Next up, new business. Madam Clerk, please call the wards, beginning with the 50th.
Claims, fee permits, license fee exemptions, which are referred to the Committee on Finance. Zoning amendments, which are referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Traffic regulations, traffic control signals, and traffic signs, which are referred to the Committee on Pedestrian and Traffic Safety. Grants of privilege on and over the public way, which are referred to the Committee on Transportation and Public Way. An exemption from physical barrier requirements for commercial driveway alley access to parking facilities, which are referred to the Committee on Transportation and Public Way. Alderman Osterman has a proposed order for the issuance of a permit for signs and signboards at 6250 North Sheridan Road, which is referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Two committees called. The matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Osterman also has a proposed ordinance for the transfer of funds within the City Council Committee on Housing and Real Estate for year 2021 for personnel services and contract services, which is referred to the Committee on the Budget and Government Operations. Two committees called. The matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Martin has a proposed ordinance for amendment of municipal code, chapters 17-3 and 17-9 by modifying section 17-3-0304A and adding a new section 17-9-0131 regarding general district standards for indoor and outdoor operations and use standards for outdoor walk-up service windows, which is referred to Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Two committees called. The matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Martin also has a proposed ordinance for amendment of municipal code, chapters 17-9 and 17-10 by adding a new section 17-9-0120 and modifying 17-10-0101C to regulate shared kitchens primarily used for takeout and delivery, which is referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Alderman Martin has a proposed ordinance for amendment of municipal code, section 11-12-530 regarding the certification of payments for outstanding water or sewer charges, which is referred to the Committee on Housing and Real Estate. Alderman Martin also has a proposed ordinance for amendment of municipal code, sections 4-60-022 and 4-60-023 to disallow additional alcoholic liquor and packaged goods licenses on portions of West Irving Park Road and West Wilson Avenue, which is referred to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. Alderman Martin and Alderman Scott have a proposed ordinance to call for the establishment of the Chicago Child Care Assistance Program, which is referred to the Committee on the Budget and Government Operations. Alderman Gardner has a proposed ordinance for amendment of municipal code, section 4-60-023 to allow additional packaged goods licenses on portion of North Lips Avenue, which is referred to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. Two committees called. The matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Gardner also has a proposed ordinance for dedication of public ways in the area bounded by West Irving Park Road, North Kenneth Avenue, West Byron Street, and North Kilbourne Avenue, which is referred to the Committee on Transportation and Public Way. Two committees called. The matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Tunney has a proposed order for the issuance of permit for signboard at 2844 North Broadway, which is referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Two committees called. The matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Smith and Alderman Harris have a proposed resolution for amendment of the City Council Rules of Order and Procedure by modifying Rule 58 to allow for in-person public participation or participation from remote location by means of electronic, video, audio, or telephonic connection at City Council or committee meetings, which is referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Riley has a proposed ordinance for amendment of municipal code, chapters 9-114 and 9-115 to further regulate regular fare rates for transportation network providers, which is referred to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. Two committees called. The matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Riley has proposed orders for the issuance of permits for signboards at 320 South Canal Street, 555 West Madison Street, 625 West Madison Street, and 9 West Washington Street, which are referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Two committees called. The matters are referred to the Committee on Rules. Alderman Napolitano has a proposed ordinance for designation of the 14th precinct of the 41st Ward as a restricted residential zone, prohibiting additional shared housing units and vacation rentals, which is referred to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. Two committees called. The matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Napolitano also has proposed ordinance for designation of the 22nd precinct of the 41st Ward as a restricted residential zone, prohibiting additional shared housing units and vacation rentals, which is referred to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. Two committees called. The matters referred to the Committee on Rules. Alderman Vasquez has a proposed ordinance for amendment of municipal code, section 17-3-0503D by modifying certain pedestrian retail street designations on portion of North Lincoln Avenue, which is referred to Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Buildings. Two committees having been called. I'm sorry, Alderman, I didn't hear your. Oh. Two committees called. The matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Spizzato has a proposed ordinance for an honorary street designation as Honorary Our Lady of Victory Way, which is referred to the Committee on Transportation. Alderman Spizzato and others have a proposed resolution for designation of the month of October as Italian American Heritage and Culture Month in the city of Chicago, which is referred to the Committee on Special Events, Cultural Affairs, and Recreation. Alderman Mitz has a proposed ordinance for amendment of municipal code, section 4-60-023, to allow additional packaged goods licenses on portion of West North Avenue, which is referred to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. Two committees called. The matters referred to the Committee on the Budget and Government Operations. Alderman Villegas has a proposed ordinance for amendment of form of certified service provider license agreement adopted by the City Council on September 6, 2017, which is referred to the Committee on Workforce Development. Two committees called. The matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Villegas also has a proposed ordinance for amendment of municipal code, chapter 3-92, to further regulate Chicago property tax, municipal tax, and budget limitations ordinance, which is referred to the Committee on the Budget and Government Operations. Alderman Villegas also has a proposed resolution to call for open hearings to review and evaluate Chicago's cybersecurity protocols and technology, which is referred to the Committee on Economic, Capital, and Technology Development. Alderman Villegas also has proposed orders for the issuance of permits for signboards at 6816 West Grand Avenue, which are referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Alderman Rodriguez Sanchez has a proposed order for the issuance of a permit for a signboard at 3204 West Irving Park Road, which is referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Alderman Raboyes has a proposed ordinance for amendment of municipal code, section 4-60-023, to allow additional packaged goods licenses on portion of North Milwaukee Avenue, which is referred to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. Two committees having been called, the matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Raboyes also has a proposed order for the issuance of a permit for a signboard at 5400 West Belmont Avenue, which is referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Two committees called, the matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Irvin has a proposed order for the issuance of permit for signboards at 1301 Southwestern Avenue, which are referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Alderman Burnett has a proposed ordinance for dedication and vacation of public ways in the area bounded by West Lake Street, North May Street, West Randolph Street, and North Racine Avenue, which is referred to the Committee on Transportation and Public Way. Alderman Burnett also has a proposed order, or has proposed orders for the issuance of permits for signboards at 1015 North Halsted Street, which are referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Alderman Maldonado has a proposed ordinance for an honorary street designation as Sister Patty Fowlinsworth Way, which is referred to the Committee on Transportation and Public Way. Alderman Cicho Lopez has a proposed ordinance for amendment of municipal code, section 4-60-023, to allow additional packaged goods licenses on portion of South Peoria Street, which is referred to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. Alderman Cicho Lopez also has a proposed ordinance for an honorary street designation as Honorary Emiliano Zapata Salazar Way, which is referred to the Committee on Transportation and Public Way. Alderman Cicho Lopez also has a proposed order for the issuance of a permit for signboard at 817 West Cermak Road, which is referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Alderman Cicho Lopez and others have a proposed ordinance for establishment of requirements for city departments to inform aldermen of all permits issued and lawsuits filed against the city by a resident or business owner in the respective alderman's ward, which is referred to the Committee on Finance. Alderman Tabarez has a proposed ordinance for designation of the 38th precinct of the 23rd ward as a restricted residential zone prohibiting additional shared housing units and vacation rentals, which is referred to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. Two committees called, the matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules.
Please keep your voices down. We're still in session.
Alderman Rodriguez has a proposed ordinance for dedication of the public ways in the area bounded by West 33rd Street, the Sanitary Ship Canal, and South Pulaski Road, which is referred to the Committee on Transportation and Public Way. Two committees called, the matters referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman O'Shea has a proposed ordinance for an honorary street designation as Jeff Troggs Trogalia Way, which is referred to the Committee on Transportation and Public Way. Alderman Coleman has a proposed ordinance for amendment of Municipal Code Section 4-60-023 to allow additional package goods licenses on portion of West 63rd Street, which is referred to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. Alderman Lopez has a proposed resolution to call for hearings on police officer scheduling, deployment strategies, and programs or initiatives offered to address officer fatigue, which is referred to the Committee on Public Safety. Alderman Lopez also has a proposed resolution to call for hearings to examine successive technologies used by the Chicago Police Department in managing crime-fighting operations and personnel shortages, which is referred to the Committee on Public Safety. Alderman Lopez also has a proposed order to call for Mayor Lori E. Lightfoot to comply with Municipal Code Section 2-4-010 by filing with City Clerk appointees for office vacancies in the Department of Law, the Department of Human Relations, the Department of Family and Support Services, the Department of Water Management, the Chicago Public Library, the Public Safety Administration, and the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, which is referred to the Committee on Budget and Government Operations. Two committees called. The matter is referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Quinn has a proposed ordinance for honorary street designation as Corporal Kurt A. Kruger Way, which is referred to the Committee on Transportation and Public Way. Alderman Thompson has a proposed ordinance for the amendment of Municipal Code Section 4-60-022 to allow additional alcoholic liquor licenses on portion of West 35th Street, which is referred to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. Alderman Sedlowski Garza has a proposed ordinance for an honorary street designation as Carlos Roosevelt Drive, which is referred to the Committee on Transportation and Public Way. Alderman Sedlowski Garza also has a proposed order for the issuance of permits for signboards at 9226 South Commercial Avenue, which is referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Alderman Beal has a proposed ordinance for amendment of Municipal Code Section 17-9-0129, requiring City Council approval for increased quantity of adult use cannabis dispensary special uses in cannabis zone districts, which is referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Alderman Beal also has a proposed ordinance for amendment of Municipal Code Section 2-45-040, requiring Commissioner of Planning and Development to obtain City Council approval for expenditures in excess of $20,000 that have binding effect on the City of Chicago, which is referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Alderman Beal also has a proposed resolution to call for subject matter hearings on Chicago Police Department's summer mobile patrol units, community safety team, and reallocation of officers and resources from neighborhood districts, which is referred to the Committee on Public Safety. Alderman Sawyer has a proposed ordinance for amendment of Municipal Code Section 4-60-023 to allow additional package goods licenses on portion of East 87th Street, which is referred to the Committee on License and Consumer Protection. Alderman Dowell has proposed orders for historical landmark fee waivers for the property at 1318 South Prairie Avenue and 3324 through 3334 South Prairie Avenue, which is referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Alderman Hopkins has a proposed ordinance for approval of a plat of Lincoln Yards South re-subdivision, which is referred to the Committee on Transportation and Public Way. Two committees call. The matter is referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Hopkins also has a proposed order for historical landmark fee waiver for the property at 2115 West Evergreen Avenue, which is referred to the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards. Two committees called. The matter is referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Alderman Hopkins also has a proposed ordinance for vacation of North Troop Street, bounded by West Wabansia Street, West Concord Place, and North Ada Street, which is referred to the Committee on Transportation and Public Way.
Budget.
Two committees called. The matter is referred to the Committee on Rules. Alderman Laspada has a proposed ordinance for an annual appropriation ordinance year 2021 amendment within Fund 925 for the Office of the Mayor, Violence Prevention and Street Intervention Programs, which is referred to the Committee on the Budget and Government Operations. Two committees called. The matter is referred to the Committee on Committees and Rules. Your Honor, that concludes automatic introductions.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please, we're still in session. Take your seats. Next up is miscellaneous business. Alderman Mitchell.
All due respect, Madam Chair, I think we move to approve the journal.
Alderman Mitchell, are you aware of any miscellaneous business, sir?
Well, Madam President, I am not aware of any miscellaneous business.
Alderman Mitchell, unfinished business.
Madam President, I am not aware of any unfinished business.
Alderman Mitchell, on approval of the journal.
I'm not aware of any corrections to the journal and move that it be approved by the affirmative vote of all the members present for the roll call to determine.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. Alderman Mitchell, the date and time of the next meeting.
Provided an ordinance to the clerk setting the date and time for the next meeting of the City Council for Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021 at 10 a.m.
Madam Clerk, please read the ordinance.
Be it ordained by the City Council, City of Chicago, Section 1, because an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent due to COVID-19, the next regular meeting of the City Council in accordance with the applicable law shall be conducted by video conference on Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021, beginning at 10 a.m. and shall provide for remote participation and remote viewing by members of the public. If prior to then, the Commissioner of Health issues a written determination that the City Council can safely proceed with an in-person meeting, the meeting will be held at a location to be determined that can be safely accommodate a City Council meeting. Any such written determination will be posted on the City Clerk's website along with an amended meeting agenda, which will include a fixed location by 10 a.m. on Monday, June 21st, 2021. This ordinance shall take effect and be enforced in and after its passage.
Move passage in the omnibus.
Seeing that majority of the body has received the COVID-19 vaccination shot, and we are opening this city, I think it's time that we start having in-person committee meetings as well as total in-person council meetings. So, I mean, if we're opening up the city, I think it's only prudent that we conduct this people's business in person.
Alderman Beal, as you're aware, the ordinance does not preclude allowing for committee meetings to be in person, as well as obviously we are here in person here today. So I think you should urge the committee chairman to consider coming back in person, as we have done so with City Council. We've made sufficient accommodations in the various committee rooms. Obviously, the committees can meet in City Council chambers. So I would urge the chairman to discuss that with your various committee members.
Thank you.
The chair recognizes Alderman Rebollos.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like the clerk to read maybe half of that. There's a resolution that was done by Alderman Sawyer regarding an employee, a 51-year employee, Justin Malave, who worked very closely with former Alderman Richard Mell. And I'd like for our colleagues to hear this resolution, because Belinda Cadiz, who's her dad, works for Alderman Sawyer. And I think we had, if you can read part of it, we can get Alderman Mell, Richard Mell, who was on there earlier, to speak on the matter before I do. I appreciate that.
Is there a motion to allow former Alderman Mell to have the privilege of the floor?
Yes, so moved.
So moved by Alderman Villegas. And Alderman Rebollos, are you moving to suspend the rules to allow for the
Suspend the rules to
consideration?
allow the clerk to read the resolution on Justin Malave.
Alderman Mell, the floor is yours.
There he is.
You got me? Thank you, Madam President. No, you're seeing. Thank you, Madam President. I'm here to talk about a friend, a wonderful individual, give you a little background if I can. 1960, when I was in the university, John F. Kennedy came and spoke. And it was such a moment to see this bright young senator hoping to be president of the United States. Affected me. So when I moved to Chicago in 1962, Paul Douglas was running for election in 68, and I was passing out information through the neighborhood. In 1972, I was involved in the Logan Square Neighborhood Association, and I decided to run for Democratic Ward Committeeman. So I was green as grass from Muskegon, Michigan. I had no idea about the powerful Democratic machine in Illinois. So I had little pamphlets, I was passing them out, and I passed them out in this one precinct. And as I knocked on the door, I said who I was, and she said, did Justin send you? I said, no. She says, well, I can't help you. She closed the door. I went five or six doors and the same thing happened. So I realized that was not a precinct that I wanted to go into anymore. So then after that, I ran, and they told me I couldn't win. And they were right. I lost, but not by much. I only lost by 500 votes. I decided then to, after a while, I decided I thought I'd run for alderman in 1975. And I had the opportunity to meet a lot of young Hispanics. Hispanics were moving into Logan Square and the Logan Square area. They weren't being accepted by the president ward committeeman, didn't want to be involved. I won the election, but I worked in Justin's precinct again, and I had the same results. I got murdered in that precinct again. Then I ran for committeeman the year after that and won. And then Justin said, now you are the committeeman. I will be loyal to you. Justin believed that 99% loyalty was disloyalty. No, the city has lost individuals like Justin Malavey. He would take people down and help them, drive them down to help them get their driver's license. He would take them down to court when they had a problem with their buildings. He knew everything that was going on his block. He would know when there was an abandoned car. He knew when there were lights out on the block. And he would make sure that everybody was heard and seen, and carried a tremendous precinct. He would always come in the office and say, Alderman, I've got a couple of families. Is there any way that you could help get a few turkeys for Thanksgiving for them? That type of individual, I don't think we have anymore, and it's unfortunate. So I totally mess up. I'd like to tell you one story, if I could, real quickly. He brought a woman in with like a 7-year-old daughter, and her father, and a little son who was terribly disinformed, could not speak, and probably she told me that it had maybe her doctor told her maybe another year and a half to live. The husband, who obviously was not the type of husband that anybody would want, could not stand to see the son and just left her. She was getting a rent. She had a rent of $800 a month, and that was her SSI payment. And she could no longer to stay. She'd have to get a job, and she couldn't be with a boy. And she asked if there was any way that I possibly could help her get a Section 8 housing. In those days, we were able to help people. Today, if we tried to do something like that, somebody would probably would be on the front page of a paper trying to do that type of thing. But I was able to secure a wonderful apartment for her and her daughter and the boy. Her father, who was with me, was a cabinet maker. The boy, although he couldn't speak, was able to somehow be taught be able to talk sign language, and he would go like this to say that he was hungry or had different signs. And the father, who was a cabinet maker, came back 6 weeks later. And I don't know if you can see it, but over the thing, I'll try to show it to you. That this little train set right there.
Boy, yes.
They
Thank
came
you.
back to thank
Thank
me.
you, Alderman Mel. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for bringing this forward. But I am especially grateful to Alderman Chairman Sawyer, who brought this resolution to fruition. Thank you for doing that, Alderman Sawyer. But Madam President, members of City Council, I too.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be respectful of your colleagues.
Thank you, Madam President. I too am not only grateful, but privileged to say a few words on behalf of Justin Malave. The resolution before you says it all. However, Justin's legacy may never be repeated by anyone who works for the city of Chicago. When you wanted something done, you called Malave. When you wanted to check on service requests, you called Malave. When you had an area that needed attention, as Dick Mel just said, you called Malave, a man with a heart of gold, a man who showed respect to everyone, kids, women, especially our seniors. My last conversation with Justin Malave came about, I think it was about 7 months ago. I saw him at a wake. And he said to me, "You are doing a fine job, young man." And I thanked him as I looked towards Belinda and Mrs. Malave. And I was very humble about saying this. To the Malave family, thank you for sharing him with us. Thank you for sharing him with the city of Chicago. Gracias y que en paz descanse, Justin Malave. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, sir. The chair recognizes Alderman O'Shea. You got to go to a microphone, sir.
I was looking for clarification as the clerk was reading the ward rolls, a piece of legislation from my colleague from the 47th Ward regarding shared kitchen. I wanted that to go to budget. I don't know if the clerk heard me. We had a lot going on in the council at that point.
Pardon me?
With two committees being called, they will go to roll.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Alderman Raboy.
Would like to accept this with a standing order on the resolution.
Standing order.
Guys, if in support of this resolution, if you choose to support it. Yes. Thank you. The chair recognizes Alderman Lopez.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to.
Ladies and gentlemen, please. We have to have some order in this body. A member has been recognized to speak, and I'd appreciate it if you keep your voices and your conversations down. Alderman Lopez.
Thank you again, Madam President. I'd like to appeal the ruling of the chair to allow for the second calling after the committees have already been entered.
It was
not called when the call of the wards happened, and the clerk proceeded without hearing. So that means that there were not two committees called at that time.
It was a clarification, which is allowed. Yes.
We don't but Madam President, we don't clarify which two committees. You only have to call them, and the clerk did not hear.
He was asking a point of clarification as to whether or not the matter had been called, and if so,
by you.
Alderman Lopez, I give you the courtesy of allowing you to speak when you're speaking. I'd expect the same, sir.
Fair enough.
The Alderman was asking for a clarification as to whether or not the matter had been called and that it was in order. And having requested a different committee than was initially called, the matter is being sent to rule. All right.
So
Alderman Mitchell on the motion.
Madam President, I'm sorry, but I would like to appeal that decision to the body because I think that ruling is incorrect.
I've heard your appeal. Your appeal is denied. Alderman Mitchell on the motion to adjourn. Alderman Mitchell on the motion to adjourn.
Sorry, hold on a second. There being no further business before the body, I move that we adjourn by affirmative vote of all the members present for the roll call to determine quorum.
Mayor's ordinances.
Hearing no objection, the motion is carried. Council is adjourned.